Holy friggin' crap, baby. The New York Jets have traded for Haason Reddick from the Philadelphia Eagles. I was at the radio station, so I was just doing some silent gyrations. Or I couldn't really react except a quick YouTube video, so it's time to get into it right now. Jets, Haason Reddick, Super Bowl? Let's go! It is unequivocally the Super Bowl for New York Jet fans. Field Yates, baby. Field gosh darn Yates. Let's bring him on the show.
Come on, people. Connor Rogers is joining the show. What's up, Connor? But Trevor gosh darn Sycamore, baby, for me, personally, my favorite New York Jet of all time.
Wow, it's great to be on. What an intro that was right there.
Paul, nobody does an intro like you, man.
Paul, you give the best intro of literally any podcast that I've ever been.
I'm gonna lose my gosh darn bananas. I mean, the big moves just keep coming for the New York Jets. Hey, everybody, I'm Paul Eston Jr., a.k.a. Boy Green. I'm the New York Jets digital reporter for Heavy.com, baby. And we're reacting, not immediately. Like I said, I was at the radio station training some newbies. And in the middle, I'm just making weird noises. Beep, boop, bop, woza. And then people had no idea what the hell I was talking about. So when I got home, I had to immediately hop on and talk about it. We've got a live call-in link, and we're expecting several phenomenal guests to join on and pop on for a few minutes. But we'll start off with our first guy popping in here. And he talked to Adam Schefter earlier today. And I don't know if Connor saw it, but if you go back and check the tape, one of the questions I submitted in the live chat to O'Connor was about Haason Reddick and Joe Douglas. Could it happen? Shefty, I'm not sure if he answered that or not because I was at the radio station training interns, so I'm not sure if he answered that question, but I did throw it out there. So let's bring him in. Connor Long of NY Flight Jets Talk. Connor, did you see that question first off? And secondly, did Adam Schefter get asked that?
So I did see the question, but
okay.
It was a 15-minute interview, and it was sent at the 15th minute, and I already asked the last question, so sorry.
That's
I did not.
As long as you saw it. That's all that matters. I don't care about my 5 seconds of fame. Who gives a flying hoot? It's not about me, but as long as you saw it, and you know that I put it a little, it's not like I called it or anything, but I was like, maybe. And so there you go, baby. Nice.
Yeah, so the whole Haason Reddick thing, I mean, You put it in the chat today. Jake Asman has mentioned it a few times before it happened, but I totally agree with what you said on your call with Jake Asman today.
Yeah,
a pick like that, if he plays 70% of the snaps, he's going to be a really solid player. So I'm okay with giving up a second round pick, as you would say, quote 2047 second round pick.
Exactly. Who gives a flying hoot? I know really, it's a 2026, but still. And by the way, we got another phenomenal guest joining us, so let's show him on the screen as well. Let's do let me make sure I set this up. A three-way video call. Let me put that in there. Matt freaking O'Leary, baby.
What's going on, guys? Look at this. I'm with the legend. Someone interviewed Adam Schefter today. I still got to watch, but congrats on the interview, Connor.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. It was a great 15 minutes with Adam. Really, really nice guy.
That's awesome.
Okay, wait. So coming off of that, let's go off to you, Matt, first. Who is on your Moby Dick list? Okay, so Adam Schefter, that's a name that is on there. Certainly, I never had the opportunity, but that's it's Adam friggin' Schefter. I mean, what? I mean, that's still freaking me out. So Connor, major props there. Matt, who's on your list of guys that you would want to interview?
Man, Adam Schefter would definitely be on there. I think. Rex Ryan, just because I love those 2009 2010 teams so much. They're a big part of my life growing up, and then just because he's a lot of fun, I feel like he'd give you good answers too.
Yeah, I like that one. By the way, my first introduction to the Haason Reddick news was Matt O'Leary's 3-minute video in the car. So when I hopped in the car, I went so I saw it on my phone. I'm just going, whoa, I'm at the radio station, but I can't really say anything. I can't go on air. I'm training people, but I'm just seeing it and making body convulsions. And people are like, what is wrong with this guy? Should we call a doctor? And then anywho, I get to the car and I'm like, I need somebody to talk to me, like not literally because the video is already uploaded, but I just want to pretend like I'm talking to someone about this Haason Reddick thing in the car on the drive home. And I said, oh, Matt O'Leary, click. and you're just talking to me about the trade. So it's like a soothing voice at night to help me go to sleep, but to get me the opposite, excited about this Haason Reddick trade. So Matt O'Leary, thank you for your service in my life today.
I'm glad to hear it. I'm glad that you were able to pop in and get your fix on the Jets news. I was surprised. I was watching Mets opening day. I was sitting there they ended up losing. It was like the ninth inning though, and I get a notification, Adam Schefter, Jets trade for Haason Reddick. Like, I turned to my fiance and said, I gotta go do a video. I'll be right back.
No, Matt, I have a question for you about opening day. What were your thoughts on the Rhys Hoskins slide today? Clean or nothing?
Dirty play. Come on now. That's a dirty slide. You can't be sliding that late like that.
And the DJ Stewart, one last thing. The DJ Stewart slide, that was clearly obstruction on Hoskins at first too. Like, the fact that they didn't even call that on the field is crazy.
So silly.
Yeah, but
Yeah, go ahead. I appreciate that, Matt. See, here's the problem. Here's what's happened here. We're 3 interviewers all together wanting to interview one another.
We're overstimulated. There's a lot going on right now.
So let's go around each of us here. So I heard your initial 3-minute thoughts here, Matt O'Leary, on it. And maybe you guys could give me new information, because basically I will explain that weird Chick-fil-A pelvic thrusting response on the Jake Asman show and me calling in randomly what that means. Again, okay, I guess I'll just explain it. I was leaving the radio station, but I had to pick up food for the family. I'm like, fine. I'll go to Chick-fil-A. I'll pick up food. And then as I'm there, I got my 3 minutes of action with Matt, which it was the best 3 minutes of my life, Matt. I thought I'd let you know that.
Boy, there we go.
Thank you very much. And then I needed more fix. So I'm like, oh, Jake Asman's on. Okay, Jake. And then I said, a call in from a Chick-fil-A drive there. Okay, fine. All right, let's do it. And I just don't know what to do with my body. So I'm just like, yeah. So there was some pelvic thrust going on to my steering wheel, I suppose, about this Haason Reddick action. And so everyone, that's it. By the way, grilled nuggets, waffle fries, and that buffalo sauce. Oh, wow. That was like the best sauce I've ever had in my life. The best meal. I don't know if that was because of Reddick. I'm not sure if it was because of Chick-fil-A, but it's neither here nor there. Anywho, what we needed to talk about here, Matt, maybe you guys can give me more info. When I saw the initial tweet from Mike Garafolo, it sounded like the Jets and Reddick were kind of interested in maybe a long-term deal. Do either of you guys know anything more about that?
So what I'm hearing is they're looking to extend him because he's owed $21 million in cap room. Yeah. He has 1 more year left on his deal. So right now I'm kind of looking at it as maybe like the CJ Mosley kind of situation where they extended him like that because he was owed. They were owed similar amounts of money. So what Mike Garafolo put out was basically Jets are looking to extend him to kind of spread that money out. As we don't want to give up $21 million in cap room for a guy in 1 year. That was the whole discussion with Mosley. Do you extend him, cut him? But obviously Haason Reddick is not getting cut as we just traded for him. So I think there's a very good chance they extend him. But just the overall trade, I really, really like it. Like Boy Green was saying, a 47 in his words, second round, conditional. I think
correct.
Play 70% of the snaps. That's going to be a second. But, this defensive line rotation, even before this signing, I'm a huge fan of the defensive line. I think this just makes it better. Now we got JFM, Jermaine Johnson, Clemens,
Will McDonald,
Haason Reddick, all those guys off the edge. And, Haason Reddick mentoring Will McDonald, I think it can only help him.
Yeah, let's advance the conversation to you, Matt. So it's this. When I saw the initial, the trade, I'm just making crazy reaction. Then I see the, the condition on the pick. And at first I thought I read it, this happens and the pick goes from a third to a second. And I was like, okay, that's a little rich, but he's a phenomenal player. And it's in, again, 2085. Why the hell do I care? Phenomenal. But then I see it's I'm like 67.5% of the snaps and 10 sacks. First off, if that happens, take the second round pick, Eagles. Take it in. I'll gift wrap it and kiss it on the way out. Ship it out over there. But what do you make of the first off, the fact that the Eagles were willing to take a pick in 3 years? That's the furthest the Jets could go. That's the NFL rule for people who don't know. You can control your draft up to 3 years, 2024, 2025, 2026. They sent the furthest pick that they possibly could in this trade. What do you make of the distance of the trade, like the Eagles taking it, and also the conditions?
Yeah, so on the conditions first, I don't think he hits it, by the way. And not like, I think there's a good chance he hits double digits, but I don't think he's going to play 68% of the snaps. I think we're probably going to see him around like 55, maybe 60 at the most. I think Jermaine Johnson led the way for edge rushers in snap percentage and was around 65%. So I would be surprised if he hits that mark. And on the compensation, like I tweeted that it was a low risk, high reward move. Like we can get into the debate of whether you would have preferred to keep Bryce Huff and extend him or pivot and trade, but just moral of the story, the dart throw to get Haason Reddick is, again, a 3rd round pick 2-3 years from now. I don't really care about that 2026 pick right now. It lines up with their window over the next 2 years. So I think it was a wise pivot from Joe Douglas.
Yes.
Sorry, guys. The thing I was trying to check was, to your point, JFM snap percentages is just off the top as soon as you said that. 55% for JFM last year. And to your point, Jermaine was 66, which would, by the way, also be under that 67.5. So it's a good call out there, Matt, that like just by the nature of this. And by the way, why would Haason Reddick care if the Jets at the end are like, why don't you sit down, buddy? You know, we start getting to a point where it doesn't matter, and then they just narrowly edge it out and miss it. He wouldn't give a flying hoot. He's getting his money no matter what. It's not like it's going to affect him on snap percentages. So it seems, to your point, if we had to kind of guess and prognosticate, the Eagles, are probably getting the 3rd in, again, Guatemalan 1,000 years. So it doesn't matter anyway. But even if it was the 2nd, again, it seems unlikely based on some of those percentages we're already seeing. So wow. I like it.
Yeah, the difference between him and Bryce Huff, I was breaking it down after I went off my 15-minute initial reaction stream. I think Haason Reddick has proven himself to an extent where he's established himself as a very, very solid edge rusher in this league. He is older than Huff, but we also have to keep in mind, Huff is coming off 1-2 solid years. Yes, he's younger, but he hasn't officially really established himself that he's this all-pro, can't-miss edge type of guy. Yes, Huff is very solid. He's younger, but, I honestly like Reddick more than I do Huff.
Yeah, and Connor, not to push back on a 12-year-old, but you just said that, he's a solid guy. Well, let's use a different adjective than solid, like sexy, spectacular, sensational. Here are his last 4 years, and Matt O'Leary said this in a 3-minute vid: 11 sacks, 16 sacks, 11 sacks, 12.5, 4 straight of double digit, and Bryce Huff just ended up at the end of the rainbow of 10 barely. I mean, come on, baby. He's more than solid. I'd pull up the dictionary, the thesaurus, start strumming through the S words, because there's other S words I would like to say, Matt O'Leary.
Yeah. How about stud? Is that
yes.
Nice. Yeah.
A stud. And he, I think, is going to fit in this Robert Saleh defense, especially on 3rd downs, because I was curious once Huff left, like, okay, what are they going to do? Do they really think that Will McDonald's going to be able to fill that role that he filled, or are they going to look for somebody else? And we've seen Reddick wrap up to double-digit sacks consistently. So I think he's going to be a real problem off the edge. And again, it fits in this 2-year window plan with all these contracts that they've signed. It's been 1 or 2 year deals. Simpson was the 2, Tyron Smith, Mike Williams, 1-year deals. So it's a pushing their chips to the table move, and I like it.
All right, I want to flip both of this on you guys, get your opinion, because some people were like, Paul, shut the hell up. Okay, you're going too crazy now. Like Haason Reddick, again, we're using the S word, stud. Very nice. I like that 4-letter S word. Very nice. That's very high in my rankings right now. So he's had double-digit sacks in 4 straight years. I asked kind of openly on Twitter, like, okay, he was already really good, but what can this scheme and the talent around him? He's playing with Jermaine, Quinnen, Will, JFM, all these guys, and plus the scheme itself, which has proven to be awesome. Is there another level to Reddick, or am I getting too crazy? Hey, Paul, there's no other level. There's just the same level he's been playing at, which is awesome. Because I've kind of hinted at, just initial thoughts, because this happened within the bunch of last couple of hours. Like, man, it feels like there's another level to this that he can reach with those combinations. Am I being too arrogant? What is it? We'll go first to you, Matt.
I don't know, like 16 sacks in 17 games in 2022 is pretty high. So I don't know how much more there is there. Like, I don't know if he's hitting like 20 sacks a year or anything like that. I mean, it would be awesome, but I just don't think he's going to play the number of snaps to do it. You know, he was at 74% in his the last 2 years in Philly. So I think
both years. Okay.
Yeah, both years, and then 83 in Carolina in 2021.
Holy cannoli.
Yeah, that's a lot. Wow. But I think he's going to live around 60%, probably somewhere between 10 and 12 sacks, which is I would sign up for that. I think that's
do you think that's low on the board or high on the board in your prognostication of the 10 to 12 number? Do you think that's a conservative number or a great, or like you think that's like hitting it?
I think that's hitting it. I mean, it could be more. His career high is 16. Sure.
What is it? Yeah.
Which I'm sure there's a world where that happens. But I just, with this defense, I don't know if like one guy's going to run away and have like 20 sacks. I feel like there's going to be a bunch of guys between like 6 and 8, and then maybe like Quinnen and Haason Reddick are the ones pushing double digits.
All right, Connor, go ahead.
Yeah, I definitely think he can, like Matt mentioned, I don't think you can go much higher really than 16 sacks, but like you mentioned, unlocking the next level, I think there's always an extra level in every player who plays football, and it only helps to pair him with Jermaine Johnson. And I think Jermaine and Reddick will easily combine for 30 sacks next season. I think we can almost guarantee that. I think yes, I think it would probably be, I think Reddick could probably get anywhere from that 13 to 16 area, especially with who he's playing with. And, adding him to the old brick, white cotton type of defense, I mean, that could really only help. So, I'm going to agree with Matt that he probably 16, 17 is his ceiling, but I do think we can see more quarterback. I know he's like one of the top guys in quarterback hits, but I do think he'll get more hits on the quarterback, more tackles for losses, more pressures. I just don't know if the sack number will increase a ton more.
Okay, I've got 2 more questions, and then I know you guys, whoever has to go, I understand. Let me throw this one to you first, Matt. I tweeted a couple of days ago, are the Jets, because once they missed out on Clowney and then Shaq Barrett, I'm like, are the Jets really going to essentially trade Bryce Huff for Haason Reddick? And I said it kind of jokingly, but I wasn't really sure. And well, I mean, that's basically what just happened. So, there's touchy-feely because we don't know Haason Reddick. He's just a new guy that's kind of popped in, so it's really new to the table. And Bryce was his undrafted friend, and he's been with us forever. He was a hobo outside. We brought him into the house. Come on in, go give him some food and everything else, and he's kind of really nurtured and matured to a new level. What do you make of that our guy went to Philly and we ended up getting the guy that became expendable because they signed Huff now over here? Does that complicate or affect your emotions of this deal in any way?
A little bit. It is a little bit strange. And I know like your tweet was obviously like a little tongue in cheek at the time, but then it ends up happening. The difference, like, there's just nothing against Reddick, and I am excited about him being here. I think it's a good fit. The comparison between the two is I view Huff as someone who is an ascending player just entering his prime now, where Reddick at 29 years old, it's a little different. He's like 4 or 5 years older than Bryce.
Of course. Right.
Huff is probably the better long-term play.
Yes.
But Reddick, for the next year or two, can you make a case that he's at the same level or above Bryce Huff? I think it'll be comparable. So if, again, losing Huff really bothered me. I thought that was something the Jets handled very wrong. But in all the pivots you could possibly make, like, I'm not going to complain about ending up with Reddick at the end of the day. Like, again, you lost a young guy that you're able to develop, and that stings and that stinks. But you were able to replace him with a known quantity and someone who's going to give you 10 plus sacks a year based on his last 4 years of production.
Yeah, we'll go back to you in a second, Matt. Connor, go ahead. What do you make of this Bryce Huff, Haason Reddick exchange? It's not direct, obviously, but it's sort of direct with the teams involved and what's happened over the last handful of weeks.
I'm actually a fan of it because I think Haason Reddick, like Matt mentioned, Huff is probably better for the long term, but Haason Reddick fits the win now formula for this team. Obviously, we missed out on Clowney. He visited us and moved on. He signed with the Panthers. And I'd take Reddick over Clowney 100% of the time. Yeah. But he definitely fits the win now formula. Huff, I would, if I was a team that didn't have Aaron Rodgers and I wasn't a win now team, and let's say we had a really young quarterback, maybe a guy like I don't know, if Anthony Richardson proved himself last year, a CJ Stroud type of guy, someone like that, and if I was the Texans, I'll just say that, and we lost out on a solid edge, I'd probably take Huff over Reddick just because a team like the Texans, or a team, mostly any other team that's contending for a Super Bowl right now, isn't in that window that it's 1 to 2 years. We need to win right now. We need to bring in veterans who we can plug in and really perform. Like Tyron Smith fits the win now formula. Mike Williams, win now formula. So I think Reddick fits that formula, but I agree with Huff's better for the long term. But right now, Reddick is the way to go for the Jets.
All right, last one for you, Matt, because I know, excuse me, you have to get out of here. This one was, I didn't know how real this was, so you guys can all be honest with me. A pass rusher in the first round. When everything was happening, and Joe Douglas went, we have full flexibility to do whatever we want. And it was almost like, time paused. He came up to my ear, whatever we want. And then I just kept thinking about it, like, yeah, but whatever, but not that, right? Right? And he's just silent. He's just, and I'm like, oh God. And then now with this, it's like, okay. Maybe it was 0.1. Now it's 0, right? Like, did either of you guys have it any different way? Because I was getting a little nervous because once they start signing those guys, and I'm like, boy, if no defenders goes in the top 10 and Robert Sauer says, hey, we have the first overall pick, boys, in the defensive draft, and the room goes, well, that kind of makes sense. I'll be like, no, please, no, God, no. So we'll start with you, Matt. Did you have any concern or worries? And now is it officially quelled and over?
Yeah, the concerns are definitely over, but I'm not gonna lie to you, it crept in, and I wouldn't say like it was a big part of the pie. Like if you had to like differentiate the percentage of like whether it be tackle, Brock Bowers, wide receiver, trade that, like whatever, but like there was definitely a sliver that could be like edge, and I was like, please not again. No, I get it, because I saw that tweet again from you too, or that mentioned that like convincing that they had the first pick of the defense. I get it, but no. And thankfully, this was taken. You have Reddick. You're not going to spend a first round pick on an edge rusher. So now we can fight over whether it should be on the offensive line or a weapon. We go right back to that, which is fine. I think you make a strong case for either one of them, but as long as it's on the offense, I'll be happy.
Okay, one more follow-up, Connor. Then we'll get to you on this.
Mm-hmm.
It's this. What is the move now? Is it stand pat? Is it trade up? Is it trade down? Because I was on team trade up before, and with this, I'm now even more, because it's not like they gave up anything this year or next year. It's like so far down the line, I don't even know that year exists on the Guatemalan calendar. I'm like, what even is 2026? That doesn't even ring a bell to me. So like, I'm on team trade up. Where are you now after this move? Because literally they've addressed the biggest things. So it doesn't seem like, oh boy, if they don't walk away with this, we're screwed. It seems like they do have that flexibility, which to me is like, okay, let's go even deeper into the pool. Hey, look at that water over there. Let's swim. Let's see how far we can go.
Yeah, I'm not against the trade up. Like if they wanted to move up and come away with Marvin Harrison Jr. or Malik Neighbors, I think that would be awesome. At the same time, though, I will say if you move back and you trade down and you get both an offensive lineman and a wide receiver in the top 50, I think that's also pretty appetizing as well. Moral of the story, I don't think Joe Douglas can mess this up. I think this is set up pretty. I think it's set up pretty nicely for him, where he could either get aggressive, move up, get a blue chip guy, and we're happy. Move down, get 2 swings in the top 50 at offensive line and wide receiver, stay put and take a Brock Bowers or an offensive lineman. And I think, like truly not pandering, I think that either any of those moves are wise.
Hey, Matt, before you hop out, give us the shameless plugs, you handsome bastard. What do you have going on the channel?
Yeah, make sure. So you can see my best 3 minutes of your life reaction over at Matt O'Leary NY. Daily videos over there reacting to all things Jets free agency and transitioning into the draft now. So appreciate you having me on, Boy Green, as always. And Connor,
you're the best, brother. All right. Yeah. Shout out to you. So there he is, Matt O'Leary, joining us. And I see we have more callers waiting. We'll get to you as soon as possible. Also, I'll give a shout out. We have someone who joined the Boy Green Super Fan Club, baby. Shout out to Dan, the Jets fan, 21, who I heard him in the chat saying, I love the green by my name. You guys join the green too. Let's celebrate with this crazy Haason Reddick move, baby. You can join the Boy Green Super Fan Club, which is a YouTube membership. It helps support the show. So the free way is liking the video, hitting subscribe, but of course, joining the YouTube membership. That helps keep the lights on too. So guys, keep it coming. So Dan, welcome to the family, brother. We appreciate you. That's awesome. All right, Connor, we have another call in here. So are you cool hanging out here?
I'm free for all night. So.
Wow. Okay, that is quite a commitment. Okay, I love it. All right, let's go to the call-in line. We got Ricky in New York joining us here on the program. What's up, Ricky?
Hey, what's happening, guys? Connor, congrats on getting Shefty. I wasn't able to catch it live, but man, big thing for you, man. Congratulations.
Thank you, Ricky.
Good work.
Thanks, Ricky. Appreciate it.
You know what? I've got so many. I'm really super. You're welcome. Really super excited about Reddick. However, I'm really conflicted about what to do now as far as the draft. For the longest time, I was one of those move back, get Fontenot, maybe a Roman Wilson in the second, something like that. But you know what? I'm going to give. This is probably going to be a really unpopular take here, but I'm going to throw something out there. And, at 72, I'll tell you what, JD always drafts a running back. If we get to 72 and Trey Benson is still there, I would run that card up. But as far as our first round pick, we trade back. I still think we could bring in some backups for the O-line in free agency. The fact that we haven't extended Reed yet kind of makes me raise my eyebrows a little bit. And
definitely.
Look, Sauce is going to get the biggest payday for a corner ever, and that's coming sooner rather than later.
Guaranteed.
We got Carter and Reed, both on expiring deals. What if in the first round we move back, we take Quinyon Mitchell? That kid has got sauce-like swag. We could have a shutdown duo for the next decade. Okay.
Wow.
I would be all for that. And then I'm not done yet. I'm going full JD here. I'm going to take DJ. I'm going to take DJ Reed and a draft pick next year and package it, and I'm going to bring in T. Higgins.
Ooh! So whoa, mamacita! Wow.
So we get Quinyon and we get the elite weapon we want. How's that for a take?
Okay, Joe Douglas, move over. Ricky New York is the new general manager of the New York Jets, baby. Holy cannoli. I'm going to be honest. The Quinyon Mitchell take is one I haven't heard at all in Jets land.
Yes.
There's been a few fears of the corner thing. To your point, it's just weird because Michael Carter II, I've explained this on a couple of shows earlier. Michael Carter II, okay, I understand if Joe Douglas didn't extend him yet. He's got like a $1, $2, $3 million number for this year. So it makes sense to wait to extend him. But like DJ Reed, he's owed $15 million right now. That's eating against the cap. It would have made sense months ago to sign DJ Reed long term. The fact that they didn't, there is a little journalistic antenna, why, Brian Windhorst, why wouldn't they extend him right now? Why? So yeah, maybe they're spicy. Okay, Ricky New York, you're cooking, baby.
Like I said, it was just a different take. So I just was thinking about, and man, you know what? I would be totally pumped if we do that. And like JD said, he's got the flexibility. We can do whatever we want. And it's just something real enticing to me that I've been kicking around. And I'm just a big fan of Quinyon. Like, dude, I loved it at Senior Bowl when the coaches said, what player do you want to defend? And he picked Roman Wilson. He's like, I want the best. Like that guy doesn't shy down from anybody, man. I just love the way that kid's the attitude he has.
Yeah, that's cool. Thanks, Ricky, for the call. That's awesome, man. Yeah, and I'm going to be honest. It reminds me in a much different way of Sauce. I didn't think the Jets were going Sauce with the 4th overall pick. I tried to talk to San Francisco people when Saleh came in, and I'm like, well, is that something they would even consider, or is that a position that is more system kind of stuff? Or like, would they not touch that? And so I wasn't expecting Sauce. So when he was, it was like a pleasant surprise. Holy friggin' crap! They went Sauce. So maybe Quinyon Mitchell is the craziness. I would hate it because I love DJ Reed as a person. He's a great member of the Jets nation. So it would be awesome to keep him, but Quinyon Mitchell, obviously is wildly intriguing. It's not something I've really thought about. So that would be, wow, that'd be pretty crazy.
Yeah, a lot to unpack there. Quinyon Mitchell is very, very solid. Good player, very solid stud out of Toledo. And, I like what he mentioned about having a power duo for a decade, but right now, it's like I said, time and time out. It's not about building for the decade. It's about building for the 1 to 2 year window we have to win with Aaron Rodgers. And like I said, DJ Reed fits that formula. Extend him, keep him, lock him in with our time with Rodgers, and hopefully post Rodgers. So I think he's very solid. I think him, MC2, and Sauce are the top cornerback room in the league. So I definitely think those three. Well, Sauce is, I think, what he mentioned, the biggest the payday. I think he's going to command around $30 million a year when he needs to get paid. Yeah, wow. I think he's going to go all in on the money, and I think he really does like this Jets organization. So I do think he's going to try to stay. But money talks. When a guard's getting paid $20 million a year, they're going to seek the money, not the team they want, or really any position. So I found that interesting.
Yeah, we'll see. Right now, the highest paid corner in the league is $21 million, so 30 would be large. I don't know if we'll get that high, but I do
25,
think it will be
28, that area, maybe.
Yeah, no doubt. I think he will be the highest paid corner in football. I don't think there's any doubt about it. We have another caller. We'll get to him in just a minute. I just want to give a shout out to, we're handing out Boy Green memberships. So
yeah, I think it was Phil and Kay Newman who got
awesome.
Who got the memberships.
Dan handing out 2. So nice of you, Dan. Thank you. Again, that is the Boy Green Super Fan Club, baby. A way to support the show. So he's gifting them out. Oprah Winfrey. You get one. You get one. You get one. Okay, I love the chutzpah. All right, speaking of chutzpah, let's go to this guy. Austin is waiting in on the line. We're getting all kinds of craziness here. Let's bring him on the show. What's up, Austin? Oh, wait, you're on mute, Austin. Yeah.
What's good, Boy Green?
Hey, what's popping, baby?
I'm pretty psyched about this one, man. I like this a lot better than Huff. The thing with Huff, dude, is it reminded me a lot of Jamal Adams, where it's like it worked for us, and then he goes to Seattle and it didn't work. Where it's like maybe it works because it's the system that he was in and he was allowed to do certain things. And I think it's going to be similar with Bryce Huff in Philadelphia. I hope he's good over there. I wish him the best, but when everybody was saying, let's pay this guy, I was like, I don't want to.
Yeah, it's a compelling case. I'll give a shout out. I think the first person I heard that from, Austin, like where I really went, I think Jake Asman was either at the combine with Connor Hughes or something, and I heard him say something to the effect of, did the Jets know, like what, let's wait a second. Like, did the Jets know something we don't? That this crazy team that discovered him in the first place, would be willing to let him hit the open market, not even thinking about the franchise tag, and no one else is going, wait, why are the Jets letting him go? Because that's like the draft day movie. Why is this player slipping? Isn't that weird? Isn't he supposed to... Bo Callahan, is he supposed to go first overall? Bryce Huff, he's their guy. Why? And did anyone go to his birthday party? I mean, that's what people are asking. So, yeah, there is something to that. I think there is a little bit there. Again, I'm rooting for him like crazy, but he's about to get some crazy. Well, obviously, he did. He got crazy money in Philly, and he's going to expect to take a massive snap percentage increase. How does he handle that? Does he just wear down immediately, and the Jets are like, well, we were right? I'm kind of curious.
And I don't think Salah would have let Joe D let him go unless Salah knew that he could do more with him.
Yes.
He gets a lot of crap, but Salah knows defense.
Yes. Yeah. And I think there are times in a relationship where, and you'll learn this one day, Connor. So take some notes, okay? There'll be times in a relationship where the partner looks at the partner and just says, "I need you." Like, okay, let's stop playing. I need you for this. This is super important to me. To your point, Joe Douglas has been running the ship, doing a lot of stuff, and they seem on the same page a lot. But I think you're right, Austin. If Salah would have went, like, we can't lose Huff, like, unless he's just asking for $30 million a year and he's the new Nick Bosa, and he obviously wasn't, as we saw in free agency.
3 for
he
51.
could have went to him and said, "Hey man, I need him. You can't let him go." And I think you're right. I think JD would have, and obviously they're on the same page to even let him leave the door, Austin.
Yeah, absolutely. And now we could close the door on that first round edge rusher rumor that I've been hearing. And we could go, Fuaga is my favorite player in the draft. I think he is nasty. I liked Tristan Wirfs in that Mekhi Becton draft. I thought he was going to be a future Hall of Famer, and I was like, we should just get this guy. And we didn't do it.
I wanted CeeDee Lamb in that draft.
Close second for me was CeeDee Lamb, and we didn't get either when we got Mekhi Becton, and I hated it. It. Was so pissed. And then
Austin, by the way, real quick, where do you see? Okay, so you love Fuaga, that's cool. As some people do. Where do you see him playing? Is he a right tackle only? Does he go to guard? Does he have left tackle? What do you think?
I watched Oregon State.
Yeah.
I watched Oregon State a bunch. I think he could play guard as well.
Ooh.
I think primarily he's the right tackle, but I think you could use him this year as like guard play.
Mm-hmm.
And then let Morgan Moses do what he needs to do. And then once Moses is gone, you could just slide him right over to right tackle and you're good to go.
Ooh.
Yeah, I don't think there's a way that Joe now, especially now that this Haason Reddick thing to me, I think completely shut the door on edge. I was a little scared because, again, best player, maybe they get a little crazy. But yeah, can you imagine that reaction? Yeah. Will McDonald again. Wait, what? Not again. Groundhog's Day. So like,
so mad.
I think this kills it. So now I think it killed the only thing in my mind, to be honest, that I said, wow, if Joe Douglas did this, I'd be pissed. But now that that's been removed from the table, it's not even possible. I give it 0% now. There's nothing he could do. Offensive line, Fuaga, phenomenal. Trade up for one of the wide receivers, great. Stay there, get one of the wide receivers. Okay, Brock Bowers, whatever they do now. I guess the only thing now, which is now that 0.1%, is if they crazy go quarterback, they go Penix or Nix and catches us off, and we're like, whoa. But besides that, which seems extremely unlikely, this seems like nothing they can do to F this up now, which is incredibly exciting.
Yes.
Exactly. I think for me, it's Fuaga. I really like Brian Thomas out of LSU. If that's the trade back scenario, I just don't think you're getting what everybody has been wanting. I don't think you're getting a second round pick. Everybody thinks we're going to get a second round pick out of the deal. I think you could get a third and then package the 2/3 and then go get a second if you wanted to. But I don't think you're getting a second round pick.
Adam Schefter of ESPN told me if we were to trade back to pick 22, he thinks we would get a second and then maybe next year's first. So,
I agree.
If we were to trade back as far as 22. But yeah, I agree with what you're saying, Austin. If we were to trade back to like the 15, 18, that kind of range, I agree we would get a third round pick. But if we were to trade back to 22, Schefter said it would probably be also a next year's first.
I don't want to move that far back. That's steep. You're not getting a Brian Thomas. You're not getting the guard from Washington, Futanu.
Oh yeah,
Troy Fautanu.
Yeah. I mean, if you can move back to 15 and get Brock Bowers still, I think that would make a lot more sense to pick him. I don't want to pick him at 10.
No way.
Yeah,
I'm not.
And I don't want to go to 22. So I love Connor saying their Schefter's like a future first. And that's like, ooh, cool. Now you could use that for something maybe. But like, if you go back that far, I think you miss out on everybody. I think you miss out on all the offensive tackles, whether it's Mims, Guyton, all of them. I think if you go back that far, all of a sudden you miss out on everybody. And maybe even a Brian Thomas you miss out on. And obviously Bowers and everything else. Because what would the Eagles be moving up for? So that's a part that scares me. So again, I think the key here is not getting too cute. If you can trade back, of course, more picks, sign me up. That's awesome. But don't get too cute where you miss everybody in this all-in season right now when there's all-in pieces you could get at 10 that will, like for instance, obviously, this is an obvious thing. the Jets are a much better team today than they were yesterday. Why?
Yes.
Haason freaking Reddick. They will be a much better team draft day if they get Bowers, Fuaga, whoever your guy is, immediately. So if you trade back to 22, all of a sudden, I'm like, who is now the guy who is available? I think that's where the questions start to change.
I still think you could pick the kid out of Texas in the 3rd round if you really want.
Which one's that? Adonai or Xavier Worthy? Who are we talking
No,
about?
Adonai and Worthy are, I think.
No, the tight end.
Yeah, I'll have to look up his name. Yeah.
Sanders, I think, something like that.
Oh, I know who. I don't know his first name, but I know who you're talking about.
Oh, Jatavian. Yeah.
Yes. And I watched a lot of Texas last year too, and he's phenomenal. Like I think he's right there with Bowers, but doesn't have the injury history.
I see. And he could be a more reasonable range to take that player potentially.
If you wanted the tight end.
Well, right. Yes, of course. Go ahead, Connor.
I like Xavier Leggett in the 3rd round, wide receiver from South Carolina Gamecocks. I think he's really nice. You know, Malachi Corley is a name that was floating around really since pre-Mobile. Malik Washington is a really solid name out of Virginia for the 4th round. He had a really solid. He was at the Shrine Bowl, I believe. I don't think he was in Mobile. He had really solid run at the Shrine Bowl, and I think those are all names. I definitely think they are going to take a guy, wide receiver in that 3rd, 4th round type of range. I know Ricky mentioned possibly he would run it up if Troy Benson was available, the running back in the 3rd round. Trey Benson, and you know, Schefter told me, I was telling Schefter, I was like, you know, the Jets, I think they should add J.K. Dobbins because I don't feel comfortable with Izzy in an RB2. And he got a little surprised there. He said he thinks the Jets, quote, really love Izzy. And I found that interesting because I am a big fan of Izzy Abanikanda. I really like him.
So fast.
Yeah, I was all for the Jets playing him. I was all for the Jets playing him last year. And even when Michael Carter got cut, they still barely used them. So I'm like, you can't expect a player of a day 3 pick to go from minimal touches in 1 year to being an RB2 in the NFL. That's just not how the league works.
I was a little surprised, so I didn't get to catch. So Connor, I'll have to catch it later in full. Flower, the Schefter interview in full.
Of course,
but the part I heard was your guys' exchange on Izzy, and when you said, you know, they need another guy, and then Schefter questions you why, and I'm like, whoa, Schefter, what are we talking about here? And he goes like, yeah, they love him, and I'm like, I just hope they're right because when he got carries last year, and there were very few, 22 carries for 70 yards or something. When he got the ball, you could instantly see there was juice and chutzpah, like, whoa, he runs differently than any of these other guys, and I'm not talking about Brees, obviously, but the other guys were like, whoa, he's a little faster to it. But I'm like,
he's got the juice.
He's got the juice, but coaches openly questioned his pass blocking, and they didn't give him the rock. So I'm not saying he's a bust or anything like that, but a clear-cut RB2, I was kind of like, I want another guy. Give me a cheap veteran. I'm not talking Dalvin Cook again, but J.K. Dobbins, whoever your guy is. I don't give a flying hoot who it is, but somebody. But Schefter really smacked that down. I was like, wow. I mean, Schefter knows more than me, obviously, but I was like, oh, wow, that's interesting.
He knows more than any of us. Obviously, he's having conversations with all the teams. He knows what players are liked and not around the building. So I found that really interesting, but I don't see in any world that the Jets have Izzy as our RB2 next year, maybe.
Unquestioned, right? That would surprise me.
The only possible way if they didn't add a free agent and they were going to put Izzy at RB3 is if maybe they did the Trey Benson thing and put him at 2, or let's say the miracle of them recouping a 2nd round pick and maybe they draft Jonathan Brooks, the number 1 ranked running back out of Texas. That's the only way I could see him being RB3 if they don't add a guy. But J.K. Dobbins, Zeke Elliott, J.K.'s my number 1 guy because he has had these ACL injuries. But, you know, without these injuries, I look at him as an RB1 in this league. If you take away those injuries, he brings, as you would say, Boy Green, some chutzpah to the table. I think he's really solid. Pair him with Izzy and Brees, and woof, I really like that running back room.
We'll see. He just visited with the Chargers. Obviously, you got Roman over there, so I don't know if ultimately they bring him in. We'll see. But Dobbins is a fun player for sure. Austin, thanks for hanging out tonight, man.
Thank you.
Thank you guys. You guys take care.
You too.
You too, buddy. That's awesome. By the way, Dan the Jets fan 21, another YouTube membership gifted.
Yeah, I think
good Lord have mercy.
I think Tony got it.
Okay, awesome. I'm glad you're keeping track of this, Connor, because it's hard for me to keep track of all this action going on here. So that you got younger eyes, you can see all this stuff that's happening here. So congratulations and thank you, Dan the Jets fan 21, being quite giving tonight. Feel free, everybody, to hop on the train, the Boy Green Super Fan Club on YouTube, and also the freeways by liking the video and hitting subscribe. There's a lot of action happening here. Again, I would just say, in terms of your Schefter Izzy conversation, I'm fine. This is my take, not Schefter. But I'd be fine bringing in Izzy. So he's RB3, and you bring in anybody else as a veteran RB2. Again, I can look at the list, I guess, but we could do that a little bit later. But let's use J.K. Dobbins or Zeke as the example. And then all of a sudden we go through camp, and Izzy is looking like the second coming of the Messiah. Okay, Zeke, move over. Izzy has proven himself. I'm cool with that scenario. But
you have the depth.
Unquestioned. Yeah, right. But Izzy unquestioned RB2. Yeah. He's the guy. I'm like, I'm just going to be like, boy, I hope they're right, because if Brees goes down, I'm not totally cool with Izzy just being the guy. And that's the conversation you have to have in your own brain. If this guy goes down, are we cool with this guy? And if you are, phenomenal. Boy Green, shut the hell up. It's Izzy to the Izzy time. But if not, that's where I have some questions.
Yeah, for me, the nightmare scenario would be Brees Hall has to miss games, and Izzy is our RB1. And, last year I think that had, what was his name? Travis Dye or something like that, number 35.
Oh, yes. Right.
My worst nightmare is him being like an RB2 at some point. Someone like him being an RB2 in the regular season, or even worse, playoffs. But yes, you do need the depth. Like you mentioned, I'm all for Izzy earning that RB2 spot in training camp, but you still need room at that position, depth, wiggle room. Let's say Izzy comes into camp and he looks like a practice squad player or looks like a college player, then you can move him down to RB3. Let's say J.K. Dobbins comes in and Izzy shines and he looks like a practice squad guy, then you put Izzy at RB2. But for me, it's about the depth.
100%. And that's what I want. I see my former intern from my radio station, who's a diehard Eagles fan, Alex Brooks, joining, saying, "Hey, Paul, Reddick is going to be a beast for you guys. Hope he helps you guys out and take good care of Bryce Huff. He's I love that guy. He's a cool dude. We follow each other on social media.
I want him to be a Hall of Famer. I want him to be a Hall of Famer.
I want all the success in the world for Huff. He's a quality human. I've gotten to know him a little bit. He's been on my show before. Yes. Really, really, really nice guy. So I'm rooting hard for him. I'm glad he got his money. That's awesome. All right, we just got this in, and I want to keep it open for others as well. The YouTube Super Chat feature, baby. Guarantee you guys get your comment answered. Yeah, we got one in. T. Rivera, baby. Yeah, let's bring him in. Guys, look at this stat. In the last 2 years, Reddick got 27 sacks. Huff in 4 years, 17 sacks. Jet fans need to know how good this move is. JD, a master dealer. And yes, there is no question that Haason Reddick not only is better than Huff right now, but again, if you want the next 5 years thing, you can make that argument. But right now, Haason Reddick is better and more proven than Huff. And over the last 4 years, he's had 4 straight double-digit sack seasons. Huff has only one in his career, and it was the one he just got. So, yeah, Haason Reddick is a freak. He's one of the best edge rushers in the league. I'm not putting him up there with Nick Bosa, but he's in the top 10 easily. That's where I would put him. And then you put him on this Jets defense, and let's go to work with Quinnen, Will McDonald, Jermaine Johnson, JFM. Like, man, this unit is crazy. And I'm going to be honest, we were swimming in the waters of Jadeveon Clowney, who I would have loved a lot. Thought he's not that I think he's an elite run stuffer and a solid pass rusher. He's had his career high is 9.5 sacks. Haason Reddick is 16 sacks. That is 6.5 more than what Clowney has ever gotten in a single season. And Shaq Barrett, for as much as I love him, I mean, he's not Haason Reddick. So that to me is unbelievable. So the Haason Reddick numbers are wild, Connor, wild.
Yeah, great super chat by T. Rivera. And, Haason Reddick's numbers are crazy. I love Huff. I'm the first to tell you he's an incredible player. But, his last 2 sacks were against a team, the New England Patriots, Week 18. It's snowing. They're basically their offensive line 3 type of group. It's basically a practice squad 3rd string. Not taking it away. I mean, a double-digit sack season is incredible, but you also have to kind of keep that in the back of your head. And
of course,
with Huff leaving to the Eagles, normally when a player leaves, I don't wish injury on them, but I just hope they suck and they get cut with 2 games in. Like when Jamal Adams left, I wished nothing but the worst for him, and my wish kind of panned out. And then when Sam Darnold left, I was hoping he would be horrible, and he's gotten his opportunities. But Bryce Huff is one of the probably the only Jet so far that I've rooted for, and I'm like, I want him to have success elsewhere.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. This probably predate. What year were you born, Connor?
2011.
Okay, so yeah, this definitely predated you. But Thomas Jones, when he left the Jets,
I've heard the name 1,000 times. Yeah,
of course, as you should have. He's a beast, and he had an amazing, insane statistical 3-year run with the New York Jets when they traded for him from the Chicago Bears. And after the Jets cut him, he was owed a $5 million roster bonus. And the Jets cut him because they didn't want to give him that $5 million roster bonus. And Thomas Jones left. I've spoken with Thomas before. I don't want to speak for him, but left on like terms where he's like, oh man, I really earned that $5 million. I should have gotten that. And he goes to the Chiefs and he does not have the same success and he fades out of the NFL. So that's another guy that I remember rooting so hard for because I love Thomas, the person. I thought it was the right move by the Jets at the time, despite what it did to TJ. But it's a tough business, an incredibly tough business where it's results oriented and they juiced him for what he was worth and then left him, which is just a harsh reality to do. But Thomas is another one that I strongly rooted for when he left. But you're right. When you really think like Chosen, like dumping the Jet, whatever they call him now, Chosen Ross, Ungod,
no, it
Robbie,
was Robbie with an Y to then Robbie with an IE, and now I think his social media is like Chosen Era 1 or something, but his name is like legally Chosen now, like Meta World Peace.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. So again, just wild. I don't really know what else to say about it. But he's like a guy that I wasn't like, woo, hope he kills it over there. But there are a few, and I see T Rivera, another YouTube super chat jumping in. Paul, never miss your 7:30 shows, and I'm glad you guys love it. Again, my father joins us on the show tomorrow, so that's going to be fun.
Eston Zone.
I already have a lot of jokes written down for what I'm going to be shoving in his face tomorrow. He might not be listening right now, but I'll shove it in his face anyway. Hey, Dallas Cowboys, this is what all in looks like, as Jerry Jones infamously said earlier this offseason. We're going all in. Yeah, this is what all in looks like, pal. Not that lame crap you guys are doing. Jerry, we'll shove that in my Cowboys dad fan's face. All in joke. I'm writing that down right now. For my father on my notebook. All in Cowboys joke will be coming. And I'm glad you guys enjoy it. So we are live for all the people we have 700 plus people in the room right now from all our different social media portals. I am live every single morning at 7:30 a.m. for Boy Green Daily. Plus Tuesdays, Thursdays, I hook up with Woody for Boy Green Meets Woody at 3:00. And Woody, by the way, it's funny. He was the first person to text me after the Reddick news broke. And he asked me, we going live? Like as if we were going to do a random live show. And I said, I'm training interns or, young people at the radio station. I'm like locked hand and key. The only thing I could do is a quick, leave the room real quick. Guys, let me go check something. And I went on a iPhone video, 60-second YouTube thing. Haason Reddick.
I saw that.
No real, yeah. So I did. That's the only thing I could do in the middle of my work. And Woody said, hey, live show. I said, man, I can't. I'm stuck at the radio show. I told him later, and he's like, I'm not home anymore. I'm like, oh, okay. But we're still going live anyway. So, Woody shows and these and the random breaking news ones are always fun. So, T-River, thanks for the support, pal.
I saw Woody. He was on Morning Sports Brew Network today with with Alex Day of Overtime, the big social media guy from Overtime.
Yeah.
So that was interesting. I saw that.
Oh yeah, that's nice, and I love Woody. I think I haven't been on the Morning Brew Sports Network, whatever it's called, in a while. So those guys do awesome work over there too. I just have to say that this move is crazy.
Incredible.
And it's awesome, and I just want the season to start tomorrow because I'm so ready. And we still have the draft in less than a month, where more talent and pieces are going to be added to this team. I'm fired up, and I can't. The Jets are teasing us on social media. The next big thing, Connor, is the jersey brand uniform reveal.
I know.
And the Jets tweet out this joke, which, by the way, not funny. Jets social media. I'm going to be throwing it up on the screen here in a second. Or was that? You ever see the movie Up? Are you an Up guy?
I haven't seen that movie.
Okay, it's really depressing. So just kind of keep that in mind if your 12-year-old, frame and body is ready for that. But anywho, I'll throw it up. This was the Jets joke because obviously all of us are waiting for the Jets news, and they just post the caption "Sorry," and it's this little Boy Scout kid from the movie who asks, "Can I ask you a few questions about the uniform today, sir? Can you tell me what it looks like?" No. What if I guess it correctly? No. Can you tell me what date it's dropping? No. Well, you got to tell me something now. So it's just no
I didn't see
over
that.
and over.
I actually didn't see that, but my favorite thing that you asked NYJ Matt when you had him on your show, the
Yes.
8:30 slot actually version of
Oh, right. Yeah, the one
Boy
time
Green
we
Game.
changed it for him.
Yeah,
That's right.
and you asked a question about the social media photo, the piece of like it looked like a bird like pecked out like a piece of the sandwich or something. Like the bite was like circular.
The bite from
and
Mike Williams. Very questionable bite. It seemed like he just did the SpongeBob thing. There's that one scene, I think it's Squidward or Squilliam or something, who goes like, "Ee," and their teeth like come all the way up to the burger and go, and then like rip this like little pig. It was like comically weird. Like what did he do? Because it looked like he went, "Oh, this sandwich look good." When you look at it, it looked like a normal bite. It didn't seem like a massive bite, but he went like,
yeah,
yummy. And then they take a picture. I'm like, what the? It's like a little nugget, like a squirrel got into it. I was like, what the hell? Yeah, it was very odd, very strange.
Yeah, I'm actually a Brooklyn Nets fan. So the night after Williams signed with the Jets, he went to the Nets game at the Barclays Center. Obviously, sat courtside, and they brought him another Taylor ham, egg and cheese from the same place, and they had him on the jumbotron, eating the Taylor ham, egg and cheese from the same exact place.
That's wild. Now, again, guys, you guys can keep the super chats and the questions coming, and Connor, whenever you have to leave, just bail.
I'm available for a while.
Okay, great. So I just kind of want to poke your brain about the Schefter thing again. I've not seen the full interview yet, but guys, if you haven't already, to the 700 people that are now in this room, New York Flight Jets Talk, that is Connor's channel. He's a 12-year-old superstar, and it's worth saying his age, so he gets even more credit for what he's doing, although it would be amazing if he was 45 and doing this stuff. It'd be amazing. But the fact that he's 12 and he's getting these amazing guests. He had Adam Schefter on his show earlier. It was something that was months in the work. It was cool to hear about it before. Probably a lot of people have told me behind the scenes about it, and I was just so giddy and excited. I was proud, so proud of you, Connor. I told you, and also publicly, it's just so friggin' cool.
Appreciate it.
And so guys, check out the full interview. It's out there on his channel. Again, New York Flight Jets Talk. I'll try to tweet or whatever the word is, tweet, post, gerflaffle. Yeah, I will post that in the live chat here, really so you guys can check that out in a little bit. But how was it? So this was something, for people who don't know, months in the work that you had been working on this behind the scenes, Connor. And then finally it results in this moment today. So I guess my question to start is, like, did it live up to the hype? You got to talk to Adam Schefter, and not a lot of people get the opportunity to do that, whether it's 1 minute, 15 minutes, an hour, it doesn't matter. To have that kind of time is really unique.
I mean, I really, 100% lived up to the hype. Adam is a great guy. I really appreciated him taking time out of his day. And I had Morstead on my show. Morstead, this time it actually wasn't me with the Wi-Fi. He had some difficulties with his Wi-Fi because I was actually visiting family out of state, and I did the interview there, and he had some difficulties. But I got to interview him. And, I feel like a lot of people, I was told it was going to be a 15-minute interview slot. And at the time, I was like, oh, I wish I had more time. But I had the Morstead one. The Morstead one was scheduled a day prior. His agent got back to me a day before the scheduled interview. So, he said 15 minutes. So I'm like, this is going to be interesting to test out the 15-minute type of interview style. And I know when you have Morstead on, you normally do 15 minutes. And personally, I think 15 minutes is a really solid amount of time, because unfortunately I don't get to go into the chat questions, but it's enough for me where I can get 4 or 5 solid questions in, depending on the length that they talk, and he would give me really, really solid answers in a really short amount of time. So I was able to get some follow-up questions in there, which I found really interesting. But yeah, this was in the works since January, since early January. I think it was about a week after the Jets season wrapped up. I don't think I was at 100 subscribers yet, and I'm right now at 600, trying to hit 1,000. By my goal is 1,000 by the start of the season, so I'm hoping to hit that. But this week my channel really went up. I was at 500 last Sunday, and 500 2 Sundays ago, and last Sunday I hit 600. So it was
I
really
just saw
really
you're at 6:30. That is the live one
yeah.
because I just dropped in, guys. The Adam Schefter interview is now in the
Thank you. I
YouTube
appreciate
chat. If you're watching on Twitter or Facebook or Heavy on Jets Facebook page, so thank you to my heavy.com overlords for supporting the show. We appreciate you. Yeah, it is on YouTube, so you guys can go to the YouTube comment section. You can check out the direct link to that Adam Schefter interview, which is awesome. So it's really cool, and I can't wait to hear the full thing. Get to grab the popcorn and watch that with the family later, and get that full thing on. Connor, I want to get back into that Schefter interview in a minute. We can also again keep the YouTube super chats coming and the video calls. That's a pinned comment on YouTube, and we'll get to some more of those guys. So keep those coming. But I also do want to just kind of have a quick detour here in the middle of this Haason Reddick stuff. Who is the next big get for Connor? Who is at the top of your list? I know you got Thomas Morstead, who's awesome. He's one of my favorite Jets on the team. Guy. He's an awesome dude. Schefter was obviously really cool. Who is the next person on your hit list?
So, I actually have Jordan Reed coming on.
Oh, I love Jordan.
I know
He's a great dude.
I know you've had Jordan on, and we've had some talks about the PR person ghosting us for a little, but I gave it a second try, and coming on, I think next Friday, I believe it is, and I'm working on Matt Miller. I'm trying to get him, the other draft analyst who just released his mock draft with the Jets taking Bowers at
7 rounds.
Yeah, I can't even imagine how much work it takes a guy to really release a 1 to 2 round mock draft, let alone 7 rounds every pick, which is
wild,
which is absolutely crazy. But those are really the guys in the works right now. I'll give you a list of the guys I dream to have on my show one day.
Please do.
Obviously, Rex Ryan is a top name on that list, but I think it actually might have been you who told me that he doesn't like to do interviews if it isn't for his work.
Yeah. Again, he's one of my top ones. Rex Ryan works for ESPN. Obviously, he also does some weekly ESPN radio hits. But beyond that, from what I've heard from his people, I've reached out before to have him on because he's been a guy that's been at the top of my list for a long time. He does not like doing, from what his people told me, I didn't get to talk to Rex directly. He has people around him, and they said he does not like doing extra interviews beyond what he's doing. And then someone else, when I got even closer, right? You get closer and closer and closer. They said, it just kind of depends if he's in the mood to do it and the right timing and everything opens up. So I'm still hunting that one. So TBD, but that's a good one to have on the list. I like that.
Herm Edwards is definitely up there.
That'd
top.
Be cool. Jake's interviewed him a few times. He's really
cool.
Yeah,
Jake has interviewed Herm Edwards. Definitely Joe Willie Namath. Joe Klecko is definitely up there. I really like Klecko. Revis. I could go on for days, but those are really top guys. Rich Eisen would be incredible. Jake Asman got to interview Eisen, but Rex Ryan definitely up there. And my first really big guest who was associated with the Jets before I started getting Samini, Kaz, and those guys was Mike Tannenbaum, and he was someone I know you've had Tannenbaum on your show. Someone else who's been on your show who I would love to have on my show, who I've tried to contact and haven't heard back from several times, is Damian Woody. I think Woody would be a great guy to have on the show. I like to go after the guys that were either in front offices or played and that are now analysts, because they really keep track of the team. And Randy Mueller's great. I haven't reached out yet, but he's obviously
a great guy.
You have Randy on a ton. He gives really good analysis. Jake had him on at Radio Row, I believe it was, cool. for the combine. So those are the top guys. But any current player I can get my hands on, sign me up. I don't care if it's 5 minutes or an hour and 50 minutes. Any current player I can get my hands on, sign me up. So I hope to get a current guy. I have 3 guys that I'm working on right now that I'll. I'm not going to say anything because there have been guests I've been really close to getting, and I thought, okay, I'm going to get these guys, and then I just don't hear back and it doesn't happen. So I'd rather keep the name to myself and not say that it's confirmed than have it never happen.
No, I agree, and I don't want to jinx anything you may potentially have in the works there. All right, so we'll get more into that in a little bit, but let's go back to the phone lines. A call online, like I said, is a pinned comment on YouTube. We got Phenom gracing us with his presence. What's up, Phenom?
Hey, what's up, guys? Connor, you're gonna be a star, man.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Yeah, but I normally don't want to talk Fury. We actually have some real meat and potatoes to eat with this move with Haason Reddick. Just like you guys have said, Huff was our guy, undrafted free agent, made really good strides. But he's gonna be good on Philadelphia too, because they have an established defensive line, a defensive, structure. They're normally a great defensive team, and they're all young. Now he's not from Georgia, but he's from Memphis. He'll probably fit in. So I expect him to do things. But the Jets have really set themselves up for success, and I can't think when I've been able to say those words. So it's just the draft is going to be. Oh, talk about meat and potatoes. Meat and potatoes, baby. We're going to be eating. We're going to be eating well. So. I've been just sitting back, listening to you guys, and you guys are saying all the right stuff. So, always my pleasure to talk to you, Boy Green. My pleasure to meet you, Connor, and
great to meet you,
talk to you, and boy, can the draft get here? Can the draft get here any sooner?
I know, it's amazing. Jets, Jets, baby.
Jets.
Absolutely. But and there's so many directions we can go. The options are limitless. You guys have named them. I mean, if we stand pat at 10, we're good. If we move up or move down, we're good. I don't think I want to go to 22 because that's. I don't want to cut off our nose to spite our face. That wouldn't happen.
Yeah.
What's your favorite move, Phenom? If you were the GM. And you had to make a move with that 10th overall pick. You staying, you moving up, you moving back. What are you doing? Who are you picking, pal?
I think for me, in an ideal world, I can't be upset if I can get Joe Alt on my team this season. I would be happy. If I get Marvin Harrison Jr., because I'm a Buckeye fan. So if I get Garrett Wilson and Marvin Harrison Jr. and Mike Williams, could you?
That 1, 2, 3.
That's a nasty receiving core, guys.
Even if we could bring in, even if it's not Marvin Harrison, it's Adonai Mitchell, it's Xavier Worthy, it's Romo Dunze.
Whoa. We're going in the wrong direction, Connor. No. Let's go back to Phenom, Mr. Ohio State down here. He delivered us Garrett Wilson. We want Marvin Harrison Jr.
I love it.
Absolutely. But like you was talking about, Connor, you were talking about Xavier Legette from South Carolina. Now, 3rd or 4th round. Now we have options. Like if we stand back to 10, and let's say we get Fuaga, the F guys, like
Fashanu,
all those guys, Washington State guy or Oregon State guy.
Now.
Or Olu is Olu would be from Penn State would be a
terrific.
If he's the Brickishaw Ferguson, we have something. We have something to chew on because our finest weapon, our primary weapon, is Aaron Rodgers.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
If we protect Aaron, that was a narrative. If we protected him last year, we were going to be good. We did not protect him last year. We did not put the resources into him, and you saw what happened after 4 snaps. Now. We know that football is one of those sports where it only takes
for long.
One guy to screw up.
Yeah.
And that could be it. So,
by the way, Connor, what year were you born again?
2011.
Okay, so he was -5. That makes me feel old. He was -5 when DeBrickashaw Ferguson graced us with his presence as the 4th overall pick, which again just makes me feel incredibly old. But yes, give me another brick. Yeah, literally
I
a
love
brick by
him.
brick for that offensive line, and literally, hopefully, the next to Brickashaw Ferguson, who
But Connor
again,
could, but Connor could definitely always just go to YouTube highlights and check out all that stuff. That's the beauty of where we live right now. You don't have to wait till football season to get any of this information. So, Connor, look, man, you're going to be a star, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I
You're
really
going to be
appreciate
the
it.
star, man. It's great. It's great. It's great.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks
really,
for calling
really
in, Phenom.
Great call.
Great
call.
All right, there he is. Phenom joining us. I would argue Connor's already a star. And my only hope now is that Connor allows us to be in his universe. Like that as he takes over Jets content fandom and pries the torch out of my dead cold fingers, I hope he just allows me to be in his kingdom as a jester who dances around in the court. And, people go laugh. Hey, look, there's that funny guy that says weird words. All right, let's keep him around.
I have like different every content creator that I've ever talked to. They all they all like represent a different thing that helped me getting my channel started. Like you'll always be remembered. What you'll be remembered for is the first guest on my show. I remember reaching out on Christmas Day, and then you came on the 26th, I think it was, the day after Christmas.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, no, it was the 27th. And then we had a great 30-minute kind of talk that was right after Saleh had his interview with Albert Breer saying that he expected his whole coaching staff to be back for, now this year, if you really think about it. And then I had you on the day after the Browns game, and we did like a little recap at like 10 a.m. And that game, if I'm being completely honest, I fell asleep midway through the fourth quarter just because I
Flacco. Just like Flacco.
I couldn't watch that game anymore. But highlight of that game for me is Jermaine Johnson tipping that ball and taking it to the house. Boy, is he nice. Woof. And him and Haason Reddick, tying this back to Reddick, off the edge.
Yes.
And obviously, Jermaine Johnson's proved he can get his hands up there. Lakai Fotu can get his hands up there. I want to see nice little pass deflection, interception, maybe to the house this year.
Hey, that'd be very nice. And thank goodness, Phil, part of the Boy Green Superfan Club, after being gifted a membership, says Connor will be on ESPN taking Schefter's job. Oh, thank God, he's taking someone else's job, not mine. Thank goodness. That's good to hear, Phil. Thank God. All right, let's go back to the call-in line. We've got a regular. If there was ever a man,
Johnny,
where who is that? Did you predict, Connor?
Johnny.
That's right. Yeah, if anyone got Chase Blue points every time he came on and building up the points on his card, that is Johnny, who is the foundation of this program. Without Johnny, where in God's green earth would we be? Thankfully, I don't have to worry about that world because he's always here. Let's bring in Johnny, gracing us with his presence. Good evening, Johnny.
Going on, guys? What's going on, Connor?
Hey, Johnny, how you doing?
Oh, living the dream. Mm-hmm. Seeing my Mets get their butts whooped today.
Sorry, pal. Yeah, we were trying to manifest that good energy this morning. It just didn't happen. No.
I was hopefully. I don't know if you guys saw any of the game, but
I was watching. I watched till the 8th inning, and then I had to go to actually my annual doctor's appointment, and then I went from that back home. As I was at the doctor, I got the notification from Bleacher Report that the bench is cleared when Hoskins slid in to McNeil. And then right as I got back, I had to go live to talk about Reddick, so I didn't really get to watch it. I watched till about the 7th, 8th inning.
Yeah, and here's the thing. So I work for people who don't know, my radio station is the home of the Syracuse Mets, which is the AAA affiliate of the New York Mets. So we both were basically playing at the same time earlier today. So we were seeing a young Acuna and not the one from the Braves smacking Homer Simpson's in his debut down there in the minors for the Syracuse Mets. So I was just reporting the score. We do updates at the top in the middle of these baseball games. You hear Boy Green at the 3rd, 5th, 7th, 9th inning. I'm like, wow, the game's tied up 1-1. Oh, wait, the Brewers are on top 2-1. Oh, wait, now it's this. So, you were getting weird random updates, but I could not watch the game, so I could only report on, box score stuff from the studio that we're in for the game. But, so I did not get to see the pain, unfortunately, there, Johnny, for you.
Yeah, man, Hoskins, the way he slid in there and spikes out and everything, bro. And I hope that this right here is the spark that we need to try to get us into a wild card later on. Because it's going to be a long season, man. Every real Met fan knows that. But, let me get away from talking about with the Mets. It's another heartache of a team that I for. But I did hear you talk about Connor and Boy Green about some people that you guys would love to have on there and everything. What about the myth, the legend, Mr. Dirty Sanchez himself?
Oof. He's a guy that I'm going to be honest. So for people who don't know, to break some of these fourth walls here, of like, wow, how do Connor and Boy Green, how do you guys get these guests on the show? So sometimes I just have a lot of relationships. I've been around the business for over a decade plus, so I've been able to meet people and network and connect and get connections. But the easiest way is actually not that. Well, actually, let me rephrase. That's the easiest way to do it. You just become friends with someone and then say, hey, Johnny, you want to hop on? Jordan Reed, I've known for a long time. Hey, Jordan, you want to hop on the show? Sure. Boop, boop. He texted him. He hops on the show if he has the time. He's not doing like a Sports Center hit or something. But beyond those friend levels, the next thing you do is if a player goes into media. So, for instance, Mark Sanchez was doing the Fox stuff. So now there's a wall of PR that you could go to the Fox PR and say, hey, can I get Sanchez? So that's what I've tried to do so far. Ixnay, because he's doing the Exchange Mangold podcast stuff. So he's been kind of busy. So I have not seen him do a lot of, same as Rex in a lot of different ways, a lot of extracurricular activities. But Sanchez would be phenomenal. And I know a lot of people are kind of split on Sanchez. To me, I will always remember him as a Sanchez. I should hang up that Sports Illustrated cover from the then San Diego Chargers game. Again, that was when Connor was still -2. So again, we're working on that for Sanchez, but yes. So yeah, he would, of course, he is definitely one. He could tell some great stories, and the quarterbacking game, being a first round pick in New York, not many people have had that distinction of doing that. So it'd be a unique perspective to get. So hopefully one day Sanchez is 100% on the list. And again, now that he's in media, in theory, there should be an easier path that he's not just some guy on his couch. Like, it is a guy that works for media representation. He also does college football play-by-play. And I've seen him do some NFL games too. So hopefully we could get him on soon. Yeah, he's definitely on there.
What about you, Connor? You always thought about getting the El Dirty Sanchez on there.
I think
man, it's nasty as any.
He's incredible, and I don't know if you guys seen like the Jets draft video where they do like the boo after every pick, like the Roger Vick picks and the picks like that. They made a new one and they put Sanchez in there, and I'm like,
I missed it. Okay.
I'm like, why'd you put Sanchez in there? But any guy that can lead us to an AFC championship with this team, you gotta love. And I think a lot of it was Rex, but he still was such a talented quarterback. Him, Fitzmagic are really two of the best quarterbacks the Jets have had in a long time.
I do hope, though, because a vivid memory in my mind, and how old was I? So let's see. Let me do that math. I was 16 or 17 when Sanchez was drafted, somewhere in that range. It may have been 16, 17, 18, somewhere there when Sanchez was drafted in the first round. The Jets traded up from 17 to 5. And back then, they screwed it all up because, like, you knew he was drafted because the camera's on him and he puts on a Jets hat. You're like, and the pick's on an announcer, you're like, yeah, I got a feeling it's Sanchez. So, like, nowadays, they don't do that. But I see him put on the old school Jets hat, which, by the way, wait a second. I have that right here. Here you go. Here's an archive. Look at this. This is the hat, not the exact hat Sanchez put on, but it's this. This is an autographed Jets hat that's just been kind of gathering dust over here. It's got a bunch of autographs from back in the day. This was the hat that Sanchez put on. Watch a video. It's him putting this hat on that has all these autographs. I don't know if you guys can see some of these, but from the team. But this is the hat he put on, and I'm just losing it because they move up from 17 to 5. Remember, it's after the Brett Favre year, so he leaves. We're like, is Kellen Clemens going to be our quarterback? What in God's green earth is happening over here? They get Sanchez, and they move up. And I remember John Gruden, who was on the ESPN thing, and he's like, they just got their next Drew Brees. Drew Brees, okay. Drew Brees, phenomenal. We're getting Drew Brees. So he was not that, but I remember Sanchez very fondly. And again, this awesome Jets hat that has a lot of dust on it, I see, but a lot of cool autographs from all these guys. Jason Babini. Look at all these names on this freaking hat, for God's sakes. So, this is a classic, baby. Haven't shown this on camera, so great call, Johnny. Very nice. I love it.
So today, man, our squad got so much better, man, and what a day it is to be. I feel like I know everybody's like, oh, let's talk about the draft and what we're gonna do. But I think we all need to just enjoy this nugget that great, beautiful man himself, JD, just went ahead and did for us. I mean, he instantly made the team better. He put fear into the whole AFC, man. Everybody was like, the Jets just got better,
Yes.
I know a lot of people are upset with the whole Huff stuff and everything.
Sure.
But I was pretty much done with Huff after the whole hometown discount situation. And, you know, when he said that to me as somebody that, you know, works in business and whatnot, when somebody kind of puts that card out there, you're kind of burning that bridge with us on our end. You know what I mean? And I mean, look, dude, it's freaking the off season, and the Jets fanatics that we are here still talking Jets, no matter what. You know, like, you know, it is what it is. At the end of the day, he's not here no more. He's gone.
Yes.
Good luck. It is.
See ya, pal.
Like,
yeah.
You know, I don't know, man. I'm just excited, dude. I mean, who would have thought this? I mean, I feel like JD, like I think I said earlier today, I hope that we build a statue for him, especially if he brings us a Super Bowl, man. I mean, I told my wife, I said, I'm not no punk, you know, I don't really show emotion like that or cry, but man, dude, if them Jets win the Super Bowl, like, I love the Mets, love the Knicks, love the Rangers, but have so many memories with the Jets, with my pops, you know, now my kids and all that stuff. Dude, I would tear up like the only crybaby out there, bro, because it just means that much, you know.
Yes.
Let's do it. Let's hope for it. I mean, dude, what a time, man. But
yeah,
I'm still kind of want to get Lamb McConkey though. Bring him.
Yeah, let's see. Let's see. Again, there's the draft is less than a month away, and again, Joe Douglas. It's almost like rubbing the bald head like the genie lamp. But anything can happen with Joe Douglas at the top. That's for sure, Johnny.
That dude is pulling out freaking like stuff out of nowhere, man. Like I know it's got to be difficult for that man to be walking, if you know what I mean, Boy Green.
Oh yeah, I'm picking up what you're putting down, pal.
That dude is literally putting it down on tables, doing these freaking these business transactions, man. Because you know people are saying like that he got like, I mean, he's finessing these deals. It's insane.
Obviously, come on, it's an unbelievable. Like there is no one that can be complaining about the draft compensation in 3 years when who knows if Joe Douglas will even be here. I hope he is.
That's what I was going to say.
I really like that Joe Douglas. You know, I let me say this. I like Joe Douglas as a whole anyway. Number one, and two, like even if he flames out and gets canned, like to complain about what would be a third or second round pick, best case scenario, but more likely third round pick. Like, come on, what are we talking about here? So the price is unbelievable, and the player exactly fits to a T what the Jets were looking for. And man, credit to Douglas because you know what? He tried to go after Shaq Barrett, and Barrett dumps him at the wedding altar. They go after Clowney. An hour plus sit down, outstanding visit, and they leave him at the altar. And Joe Douglas doesn't cry about it. He turns around and goes, okay, I'm going to pivot. Yo, Howie Roseman, my old Philadelphia buddy, let's bang out this deal right now for Haason Reddick. And that's exactly what they did. And booyah, the aggression, the go for the jugular. Like, there's something saying all in and then doing all in. And he has been a man of his word so far this offseason. And again, the draft hasn't even happened yet, and they have addressed every major need on this team. How can you not be ecstatic, enthralled as a Jets fan?
Let me ask this, right? So with all these moves, right? And let's just say he blows it out of the water with the draft coming up. I'm talking about another Sauce, Garrett Wilson, JJ draft, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But the season comes on, right? And the Jets crap the bed, right?
You gotta let him go.
Do we let him go, or
yeah,
I don't
probably,
know, man?
It's hard to, because if you get all these players, as you say, it's hard to then fulfill the rest of what is part of this, you know, scenario that you're presenting. If they get the Sauce, Garrett, Jermaine, then with what they already have, and literally Sauce, Garrett, and Jermaine, like to double up that bet and to still not be good, it would have to be Aaron Rodgers' other leg exploding. Like, what other reason? And even if that happens, I still think Tyrod can keep the boat afloat where it's not a disaster. So, like, then Tyrod's leg explodes. Like, apparently everyone's leg is exploding. I am stretching to think of the scenario where that happens because they seem so insulated. I'm not trying to jinx it here, but they seem so insulated, and we got to see what happens with offensive line depth. that it just seems impossible. But I hear what you're saying. It's basically, here's another potential way to put it. The Jets make the playoffs and lose in the opening round. So they break the playoff drought like that for the first time in 13 plus years, and then they lose in the opening round in some way, regardless of how it happens. That will probably be a tough pill for Jet fans to swallow, making the playoffs, sure. And then for that to happen, you're like, boy, now what? Now that's where we get into the funky territory. What do you do with Joe D? I think if it falls out, it's clear what you do with Joe D. He's getting fired no matter what happened. But if you flirt with success, again, make the playoffs but don't make any noise, then Woody's like, fudge me. What the hell do I do now? That's where I think we get complicated because, like, does Saleh get an extension? Does Douglas get an extension? Do you reset it? Like, there's so many questions.
And that's what I mean. So what I'm trying to get at is Saleh essentially tied to the hip with JD?
I think Saleh, so. 100%.
Yes, I think so.
Would Saleh be the one that gets the, all right, you've had your time, he's put all the pieces in here for you. It hasn't been done.
Maybe.
Right? We need to
I could see that. I could
yeah. My gut is they're tied together for better or for worse. So, like, if things go well, both are getting extended. If things go bad, Woody goes grenade, and the whole thing blows up. And then we see, is it a pivot to an accelerated rebuild where they bring in they're not bringing in Harbaugh. They bring in a Harbaugh type, and all of a sudden you plug him in, and then you try to chase it heavy with Rodgers if he sticks around, or what else? Maybe. I don't know.
I mean,
now we're going down a rabbit hole.
So. Be the one that might come in. You know, look, I'm not trying to say, like,
no, I got you.
I don't like putting out those hypotheticals. I really don't.
Of course.
Right?
Yeah,
like, that's not my style or anything like that. I don't know, man. Dude, the stuff we haven't had a GM like this, and I don't know how long. That's
of course
keeping us relevant. I mean, dude, on every single network that's out there right now, they're talking Jets.
Yes.
Jets. And it's something for myself. I'm like, damn, when is the last time something like this has truly happened that we're talked about? You know, I mean, for the simple fact that some lady, right, went ahead and said, I heard that my cousin's baby mother's friend dad,
Colleen Wolf,
right, was at this meeting, and you know they had a heated argument over a toaster. Like,
yeah, right. So again, but I apparently should thank Colleen Wolf and all that shit because it put a fire under JD's ass to go make a Haason Reddick trade. So thank you, Colleen Wolf, apparently, for that. Yeah, it was weird. And by the way, I didn't jump on it because I'm like, there's something messed up, and then everyone shuts it down. So I'm like, okay. It seemed ridiculous, and it's almost like you come in like. And you think you have a story, and then you poke the Pillsbury Doughboy, and pooh, all the air comes out because it was a story. Oh, there was a heated argument, perhaps. Oh, was there? Boop. And then, well, it was a heated conversation. Okay, maybe it didn't happen. I don't know anymore. And they're like, okay, that just folded like a cheap suit. So, like, you know, again, it was nonsense, and nonsense destroyed. So, either way, I'm just glad that it all folded. Johnny, I'm sure you're going to hit us up tomorrow. The phone lines are packed, so we'll get back to you. Make sure you hit us up. I'll see you tomorrow morning with some hop on pop with my old man. Jets, baby. Love it. Thank you, Johnny. Appreciate you, pal. All right, let's go to Dan, the Jets fan, who has been freaking kicking some ass. Patuki, Connor. Patuki. All right, let's keep a clean bill here. The Patuki, the booty. That is Dan, the Jets fan, gracing us with his presence. What's up, Dan?
Like you just said, I've been kicking more ass today than the Mets did. I mean, one hit.
Oh, hey now.
When does it end?
That's been tough. Yeah,
it's always something. As far as the Haason Reddick trade is concerned, do you guys think the Jets will hook him up with the Bryce Huff treatment in terms of snaps played to keep him under that 67.5% mark for next season?
I don't know if it's an avid message like, hey, we are 100% keeping him up, but I think it's more like, let's rock with him and do the normal, which, by the way, shout out to Matt O'Leary, who joined us earlier in the stream, who had a lot of those percentages, and I looked up a couple while we were live. JFM last year was 55%. Jermaine was 66. So even in Jermaine's awesomeness, he was still below that 67.5% threshold. So it sounds like I think they're going to rock with him and do what they normally would. And then we start getting to the end of the season, they're peaking up. It's almost like we're watching the scoreboard, right? Like the Jets have to base it on another game. You're kind of peeking up to see, you're like, that's at 66.5%. let's lay him easy because we're in whatever position we are. So I don't think it's a message from the outset, but I think once we get deep in the season and it's up for grabs to affect it, and again, Haason Reddick wouldn't care. Why would he matter? He doesn't give a flying hoot what pick the Eagles get. I think that's where potentially you get into it. And plus, remember, it also on top of that, he also has to get 10 plus sacks. So it's not either or on the incentives. It's an and in between, which is massive. So good for Joe negotiating that out. But that would be my gut. Connor?
Yeah, I don't think he's going to hit that number as you just rattled off the Jermaine Johnson, the JFM. I definitely don't think he'll hit that. But if he does, like you mentioned, I'm 100% cool with sending that second round pick out to Philly just because if he produces those numbers, same with the Tyron Smith incentive base kind of thing. If they produce those numbers, this team is going to have a lot of success. So if a guy like Reddick is going to get 10 sacks and play more than 67.5% of the snaps, sign me up because he is going to be solid if he's playing nearly 70% of the snaps.
Of course.
But why do I feel like if somehow somebody does achieve that, why do I feel like the Jets will somehow somebody still miss the playoffs? Only the Jets.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that would be only the Jets, but I just feel like in the same vein that like someone like Johnny was just saying, hey man, if they kill it with all this stuff and still lose, like how do you feel? I'm like, well, that just seems impossible for those two things to
That's
coexist.
all coaching.
Yeah, right. But so to me, if Haason Reddick has 10 plus sacks and he played 70% of the snaps, basically, boy, the Jets must have been badass. They must have been phenomenal. So, right, we'll see. And plus, I think it's even harder than ever now in today's day and age where 7 teams make the playoffs at each side. To have all of that going for you, it seems hard for the floor to fall out. So it's exciting.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Anyways, so Connor, I haven't had a chance to watch the Chef interview yet. I'm looking forward to it. But anyways, did you guys get a chance to talk about the kickoff rule changes? If not, how do you feel about them?
Oh yeah, we have not. Go ahead, Connor. Start us off.
Yeah, I really haven't made too much of it, really. I touched on it a little with Morstead. He didn't really have much to say on it just because obviously he's not the kickoff specialist for the Jets. Greg the Leg Zuerlein is. But I like it because I think it's gonna really kind of nick the fair catch kind of touchback thing in the butt. And I think it's a little unfair to the return guys if you really think about it because second you leave the end zone, you have guys rushing at you versus they line up with the kicker. You still got some time, but I like it because I think almost every return now is going to be in play versus the whole touchback, fair catch kind of thing. So yes, I am a fan of the new kickoff thing.
Yeah, I'll say I'm on the opposite side. I think it's going to be phenomenal for these return men, and we could see craziness because how I equate it is this. It's basically the XFL rule, but that's not what the NFL's calling it, where you got these line of scrimmages, offense versus defenses. I know it's special teams, but offense, defense, and you have a kicker in the kicking zone and a returner in the landing zone. It's what we call cover zero. And for people who don't know what that means, well, as a Jets fan, you should. Greg Williams, cough, cough. But for those of you who don't know what that means, it means it's man on man all across the board. And if you break the initial wave, see ya. Okay, the return man's going to do the old sweetness kind of ho-ho, and then the kicker's going to break his ankle in aisle 4, and you're going to the hizzy. So I'm excited for it. It should be a splash play. It's one of as a former running back / kick returner who made a lot of his bones on making those kind of crazy plays, like Devin Hester was an idol of mine, prime time, some of the greatest returners of all time. Like, it's great that the return game's going back into it because whatever they said, 20-something return rate last year, that's disgusting. It's a ceremonial dead play where we're grabbing a Bia because, nothing's happening here. Like, that's terrible for the NFL. So I love that it's getting injected back in. Now, the only fear, and this is a good thing, I think, is that we could get a ton of return touchdowns this year, more than ever, which is exciting, but also maybe the NFL is like, oh, maybe we push this too far. But I'm excited about the kickoff rule because it injects new life into it.
At the same time, I mean, like I said earlier, only the Jets. I mean, who's going to be on the wrong side of this end?
Yeah, that's a fair point. I understand the people that have the damaged puppy syndrome, like, oh boy, how's this going to F the Jets? I understand with the checkered history of the Jets. I can understand how people see it that way, Dan. I understand.
Every year. Guys go. You guys have a good rest of your Friday night.
Thanks, Dan. I appreciate it. And before we get to our next caller, I just want to throw this up on the screen. This is a tweet I sent out. And it's true. It's Jet fans to Joe Douglas after a perfect offseason. Let's show this up. A Batman scene that is quite fitting for this. I will throw this up on the big screen. Here we go.
I never said thank you. And you'll never have to.
Joe Douglas. Not all heroes wear capes, but Joe Douglas does. Thank you, Joe Douglas, for your support. No question about it. All right, let's go back to the phone lines here. Wow, these lines are popping, so keep them coming, everybody. We've had Nick here waiting patiently, so let's get to him. Nick, who I joined his show for the first time in a long time or ever. I don't know. It's been a long-ass time, but let's bring him in. Nick, proud NYJ Jet fan, joining us here on the show. What's up, Nick?
You know, I was looking around for something, and I can't find it. It's like I lost it.
Yeah.
What do you say? What do you call that? How did we react
your
when we got Reddick?
Bananas, baby.
We lost them.
Bananas lost. Look at this.
They are nowhere to be found. I lost them today.
And I hope we continue to lose them. I hope they are not found. Yes.
Do you know who should be the most excited New York Jet?
Who's that?
Jermaine Johnson.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Jermaine Johnson, who I know it was a substitution or a couple deep. He made the Pro Bowl. He was going to be a guy going into year 3, now that Huff was gone, who was going to be the main focal point of offenses to stop on the edge. Now, you're bringing in a proven, all-pro level, double-digit sack year after year guy. Jermaine is going to feast off of this. Like, everybody is going to get better off of this. Quinnen's not going to be able to see as many doubles on the inside. It's going to open him up. Reddick is a legitimate get to the quarterback down, not just pressure him. Get his ass on that awful MetLife turf. This is what this guy brings. He's going to make everybody better along that front. His presence alone, the name recognition, he's 29. He still plays at a very high level. I think Zach Rosenblatt tweeted today Salah's comments from when it was Philly week, and he talked about it. He goes, he's got 3 types of rushes. He can go inside, he can go outside, or he can go through you. The way that Salah gushed about him, I retweeted it. You could say whatever you want about Salah. You could say, I don't like this, I don't like that. It's clock management. He cheers. The guy knows defensive linemen. You have to give him that. Even if you were the biggest hater, you have to give him that. He knows defensive linemen. How can we not be excited about this? Bryce Huff has 17 and a half sacks in his career. In 4 years, 17 and a half sacks. We're acting like we lost Joe Klecko or Bruce Smith or Reggie White or LT in their prime. Let's calm down with he was a homegrown. Yes, he was a homegrown. His comments, we all knew he was not signing when he made those comments. Let's be realistic. It was a pipe dream.
Yeah.
But
unlikely.
I
will say this. There's a sneaky guy. There's a sneaky benefit guy. You mentioned Jermaine Johnson. I think that's a great call out. Someone else that people are going to say, Paul, what are you talking about? Will McDonald.
I was thinking that.
And people are going to think it's weird, but it's this. Will McDonald had an unreal and probably unrealistic expectations that were going to be and probably still are put on him from Bryce Huff walking out of the door and Will McDonald coming in for a guy that I thought showed certain splashes. He had 3 sacks in his rookie year, whatever, in his limited snaps. But he was supposed to. Now Jetfrin's like, okay, so you better be Lawrence Taylor, pal, which is a ridiculous thing to say. But that's what Jetfrin's like. Well, okay, he's got to be this, or else it's a bummer. Now having Haason Reddick in there, first off, that can only help Will McDonald. You have a freak that's done it for a long time at a high level, so you can learn from him and shadow him. 100%.
You go
you're
everywhere.
Right.
Every meeting, you better have your book right next to him, and you sit and you learn. What do you see? What does he do? Does he have a tell? You learn everything that Reddick is seeing.
Yeah, and to be honest, there's going to be moments where they're on the field together. Will McDonald one side, Haason Reddick on the other, and an offense has to go, oh boy, what are we doing here? And I'm not, again, Will has an unprovenness to him, so I'm sure they won't double team him, which means it's one-on-one Will, and he's got some sick spin moves, and he's got some athleticism and some freaky to him where he can bend the edge. I'm excited. Plus, the number one thing here, folks, and we forget this. So Bryce Huff, 10 sacks, that was really cool last year. That was without Aaron Rodgers. And now Aaron Rodgers playing with leads and letting Haason Reddick, Jermaine Johnson pin their ears back and go, I'm just dreaming of what this fall is going to be. It's an exciting time. Yeah.
There's 2 games last year where you saw a glimpse of what this defense can do in the end. The Denver game, we blitz. Quincy gets the fumble. Hall takes it, returns it. and the Philly game when Adams was able to jump the route because they knew we were going to get home. Those were games that were put on the defense's shoulder late in the fourth quarter, and they said, win the game or close the game for us, and they did it. That's something that got taken away from us too 4 plays in. We know all the the defense had a lot taken away from them too. We never had a 20-6 lead at halftime where the other team had to start throwing all 3 downs midway through the third quarter and we could just tee off. That's the whole purpose of this fresh defensive lineman rotation, is that late in the game, we're going to kick, earmuffs, Connor, the shit out of you because we're going to be fresh, you're going to be tired, and we are going to be able to get home. And now, hello, the secondary is elite. So now they can get more turnovers. Dude, this is going to be fun. We got better today. We got better at defense. We got better as a team, and we got better as contenders. Anyone who was complaining about this move, bloop, goodbye, block. I don't want to see you on Twitter. I don't want to see you at ShopRite. I don't want to see you at the stadium. Stay home, pick another team, go pick apples in October, do whatever your wife wants to do. Do not come to a Jet game if you are negative with this move today.
Hey, Nick, real quick before we get you out of here, give some plugs, baby. Where can people find you? You have a lot of fans in the chat. As soon as you graced us with your presence, you're getting a lot of love here in the chat. So share it with us, baby.
Proud New York Jets fans. You'll see me there. You'll see me Wednesday night with Jeremy on Jets Chaos from 8 to 10. You'll see me popping in either with Jake, Matt, you. And love what you guys are doing. Congratulations, Connor, on all the success that you're having. And all
I appreciate
it. All the guys that you're getting. No worries, man. And Boy Green, you're just a legend, dude.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Well, Nick, let's just, before I throw you off, let me just say this. That's
what
short. Okay, yeah, Connor got Adam Schefter. Okay, but you had Boy Green on the show. So, like, come on, let's kind of...
What are we doing, Connor? What are you doing, Connor? Match that.
You also had Denmark Andy on.
That's me pulling the ace out of the sleeve. I had Boy Green on a Sunday night. What are we doing there?
That's true.
Forget Sunday Night Countdown with Berman and Tom Jackson. It was Shine and Eston on Sunday night. Top that, Eston.
Yeah, that's right. Spectacular.
Nick.
Love it, Nick.
Oh,
that was
I think
awesome.
we lost.
Oh, you have something for Nick. Go ahead.
No, it's good. It's good. It's good.
And I'm back.
Just gonna...
Yeah.
Good
go
thing
ahead.
I didn't strip down naked. All right, what's up? I'm back.
I said you've also had Denmark Andy on your show, so that's someone you also got to add up on that.
Know about Denmark Andy?
Yep,
have you heard about Denmark Andy?
I have not. No. I'm seeing all this in the chat. Denmark Andy enthusiast.
Wow. I am a Denmark Andy enthusiast. Opened up the chat like you did here, and somebody who was in Denmark at 5:00 in the morning was just looking on YouTube for open call-in shows. Didn't know anything about the Jets. Didn't know anything about American football, and I tried my best to have a 15-minute interview with them, and it was fantastic. And let's just say he decided to do Candy Andy, but it was off air. And I was like, oh, we got to go. Goodbye. Oh, that went off. Literally, I'll send you the clip. I'll message you with the minute mark to watch. But Denmark Andy, Candy Andy, lives in infamy. It was.
I see. Sniffy, Jiffy, Devil's Dandruff. I understand. Yes. Okay.
He was the bloke who likes the. Him.
Again, Connor, we're talking about candy. We're talking about candy. Connor.
Yes.
We're talking about candy.
Halloween.
All right.
Halloween candy.
Yeah, Halloween. Yeah, trick or treat.
Have your parents check your candy.
Yeah, please do. Yeah, razor blades and lemon juice. Make sure you check for any of that. That's wow. That's a different angle. All right, we'll get back to that. Nick will send me that clip off air and Boy Green After Dark, I suppose. Anywho, let's go back to the phone lines here. 04 Jets fan joining us. What's up, brother?
Hey, long time listener, first time call. You're great, Boy Green. Connor, young man, you should be proud of what you're doing.
Thank you.
Amazing work. I went and hopped off Boy Green's live, went and watched some of your stuff. Amazing work, young man.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
To hit on Haason Reddick, someone needs to come punch me in the gut because I believe I am dreaming.
It is. It's unbelievable. It's stunning. It's exciting. It's funny every time someone says, because like I had this is funny. a couple. So one of the players I wanted at the beginning of free agency was Tyron Smith. So the Jets are going through days of free agency and nothing's happening. And I was at a laundromat and I said, Tyron Smith would be nice. And I was on a live stream and I'm like, Tyron Smith. And people said, Paul, do you think you should shut up about Tyron Smith already? Obviously, it's not happening. Stop being unrealistic. You're annoying. I had that comment. And to see, and I told them, like, screw you. As long as he's a free agent, I will say whatever the heck I want, random person. And then he signs, and I just want to find whoever that person was and say, you bastard. But I'm better than that, Connor. So again, good role model here. I'm better than that. I didn't do that. I wanted to do it, but I did not do it. But that just goes to show that every time people say that the Jets splash moves are done, that's what someone said. I heard it earlier this week. I listened to all the insider shows. And I'm like, the Jets are done now. That was cool, but the Jets are done. Like, it's cool to see that they're not done till they say they're done, baby. So the splashes continue at Splash Mountain for the Jets. Love it.
I do have a thought. Is Justin Simmons, the safety, still available on the market?
Yes.
Yes, he is.
Go get him.
Okay.
Go get him.
$11 million a year, Joe Douglas. You know,
we'll see.
I understand
that's someone
pricey,
I've said. That's someone I've said for a long time since Denver cut him. And I've talked to guys like Samini Costello, and I mentioned that name, and they laughed at me, and they said Joe Douglas is not spending $11 million a year on a safety. But
I agree. I will say this, though, for a Jets fan to jump in. With Haason Reddick and all these people joining, like it's the Miami Heat of 10 years, 13 years ago. All of a sudden, you go to Justin Simmons as the market continues to die and no one's paying safety. Say, hey, Justin, 1 year run, reasonable money. Let's call it I don't know. I'm making these numbers up. 3, 4, 5 million with a ton of incentives. Let's roll. The incentives for people that don't understand how contracts work. Incentives don't count against the cap this year. It's future cap stuff. So it's next year. Do that. Simmons, let's go win a ring, baby. You're not getting the market you want. Let's go. So while Connor's right and all those insiders have laughed at Connor for those things, I would double down and say, as long as he stays out there and the days and weeks go by, we're about to enter the month of April, coming up on Monday. I think the Justin Simmons thing opens up as a possibility because the Jets could say, we got an awesome defense, join the ring chase. And I think that's a compelling pitch, 04 Jets fan.
Do you think Justin Simmons is a guy that could make it past the draft?
We'll see. That's interesting. It's interesting with the safety market because you just don't know. But 100%, Justin himself could wait because, again, if he just feels himself, sees how the draft plays out, because I think that's what Schefter said, I think, on Connor's show this morning or this afternoon, rather, where he said a lot of the big moves are done and the teams are just going to wait to the draft and see what happens in the draft and then make big boy decisions. I think that could happen with Simmons. Let's see where everything settles. This isn't supposed to be a great safety draft. So see where everything settles after that. Does anyone miss on someone and then pay him crazy money? Or, to my point, the pitch of, okay, Justin, things have settled here. We're about to hit the death of the summer. Let's roll. So, yes, I think it could happen. Yes.
Now, to touch on a point that you both are adamant against, falling back to close to 20.
I think Connor's for it. I think I'm against it. Connor's like the Eagles 22 guy, but I'm kind of like, that feels too far. But go ahead. Split the difference.
Call Dallas. They need a tackle.
Let's see.
Ooh, what do they got? What are they, 25? What's their number?
They're 24. I just pulled up Tankathon. 24.
24. Okay. Well, that's a little deep, but boy, they would have to give up their next year's first for me, or give me CD Lamb, and I will do it.
So, CD Lamb, sign me up.
Yeah.
Jordan Morgan, Arizona tackle.
Yes.
Yeah. He's going to go in the first.
He's a massive man. First team All Pac-12. Proved he's back to full strength after an ACL tear last season.
Mm-hmm.
Great run blocker. Needs a little help in the pass block. He's the kind of guy you could bring in, sit behind a Tyron Smith or a Morgan Moses for a year, and then throw him into left or right tackle, depending on where you want to go, and plug and play.
I love it. That's an interesting thought because they have their starters now, but you could bring in a guy in the room and get a ton of assets for falling that far. I love the thought, 04. Thanks for calling in, brother. Appreciate it.
Peace.
All right, there he is. All right, we got a ton of callers in here, so we're going to keep going down the line. This guy's been waiting for a while, so let's bring him in. We've got Nick joining us here on the show. What's up, Nick? Welcome back to the show, brother. Wait a second. Is that the head of the table, our tribal chief?
Yes, sir.
Acknowledge, Connor. I don't know if you have any idea what that means, but acknowledge with WrestleMania coming up. Yes.
Acknowledge Joe D. Acknowledge
Yeah.
Joe
Oh,
D.
that's right. Yes. Yes.
First off, I love the cut. I like it. The shaved on the side into like the beard fade. I'm a fan.
Yeah. That's a good touch.
Connor, when you get older and you lose hair, and Boy Green, you gotta make some moves a little bit earlier, and preventative maintenance, so to speak.
I love that. I love that, and that's phenomenal. That's phenomenal. Again, the head of the table. We got WrestleMania coming up, baby. The Tribal Chief. I'm loving everything that's happening in wrestling. I've been a big wrestling fan for a long time. I've never left, and oh yeah, I can't wait for Mania next weekend. Speaking of Philadelphia, that's where the WrestleMania is going to be at Lincoln Financial. So we'll be there. Maybe Haason Reddick can hook us up with some tickets. That'd be nice for Mania coming up, baby. Yes.
Seriously, right?
Yeah.
Put that out there in the universe, right?
I will. I will see if, like, I know NYJ Matt did the sandwich thing. I somehow get a WrestleMania ticket thing. Yeah, let's put it out. Yes.
But seriously, a good move. I like it a lot. The only thing that again, I think puts a little damper on it is, again, it's like we're giving Philadelphia a 3rd round pick just to keep Bryce Huff. Like we could have spent a little bit more money, and that's where I think a lot of people get upset. Not to say, and I don't want to sound negative on it, because it's the perfect move, because we're replacing the numbers, and that's what I love. It's the exact move to do right now, and the defense is replenished. At the very least, we're where we are last year, and that's what I love about this move. But
yeah, I will say, just to jump in, the only thing that I'd love to hear if and when it happens is Garofolo. Again, when I was driving home, and I've been all over the place, so I again, pelvic thrusting in Chick-fil-A parking lot to coming home and jumping on a live stream. Like, I haven't a lot of time to kind of observe the landscape, but the nugget I saw was Garofolo said the plan was for the Jets to extend Haason Reddick like somewhere soon, and if and when that happens, our direct comparison is, what did Bryce Huff just make, which was 3 years, 51? What did Reddick just get paid? That, to me, will be a great, okay, let's have the staring contest here of where in the line did Bryce Huff just make? Because, again, he's young, nowhere near as proven. Haason Reddick, more than proven, 4 straight double-digit sack seasons. I'll be fascinated to see the money, because if the Jets get a wild deal on Reddick where it's nowhere near Huff money, we're going to be like, oh, my God, look at this. Like, Tommy Boy, oh, my God. There'll be a little bit of that action. That's what I'm looking forward to. But if the money's crazy, that's going to get all the Bryce Huff stands going, see, now that's effed up, because we paid crazy money for Reddick, and it would have been less.
Yes. What we thought Clowney was going to get,
correct.
Then yes, 100%
yes, right.
agree.
Yes,
and I got to give you, I got to give you 100% credit, Connor. Great interview earlier.
Thank you.
And Boy Green, I saw you because we were chatting back and forth, and he was like, ask him about Reddick, and literally half an hour later, or maybe I don't know, it was on my, but it happened. It was like you put it in the universe. It was such a perfect storm of greatness for the Jets.
Yes.
But
I take absolute full credit for that. I know Connor didn't bring it up on the show, but so that's Connor's fault. It could have made the Schefter interview even better, because then Connor would have looked like a genius. Like, Schefter's like, oh my God, Connor's the one who brought it up to me on that show. He would have gotten all the credit. He would have been talking about him on SportsCenter. So Connor blew it. That's on him. But he's a young guy. Let's forgive him for making mistakes. Exactly. Yes, I put it out into the universe. I take full credit for that. There's no question about it. Yes. Yeah.
But seriously, so the thing that I think about this move is it 110% means that we're trading down. There's no
interesting. I've heard people say the opposite, so it's funny. So these are all the interpretations. I think it was Jake Asman shows where I heard it when I was driving home, is that someone said this means they're moving up because they gave up picks in some future draft we can't even see in the future, and 2025 remains untouched. That means 2025 capital is being used in some trade up. So it's funny that you are being dead serious right now. You're like, oh, this means trade back. And someone said, oh no, this means trade up. And I heard someone else on Twitter, this means stand pat. I'm like, what does it really mean? Everyone's saying it means everything. I don't know.
Right. We're all experts, right? But like in theory, in theory, like the way I think it is, I think Douglas views it as he can always trade back and get a 3, because most trade backs always get a 3.
Yeah.
So in the event that and listen, if he puts up 10 sacks this year, then yeah, absolutely, it's worth a 2. but you can.
And he has to play the snap. So just to clarify, because I know some people come in and out, and I'm sure you know it, Nick, but for people who don't know this, Haason Reddick trade, Jets Eagles, it's a conditional 2026 third. If he accomplishes both incentives or achievements, then it becomes a second. And the two achievements are this: he has to play in at least 67.5% of snaps, 67.5% of snaps, and 10 plus sacks. So if both of those things happen, that 2026 third becomes a 2026 second. But if he achieves like one or the other or neither or whatever, if it's not both, then it's a third. So just want to put that out in the universe. He has to accomplish both, which is a big ask on both sides.
Yeah, that's actually I didn't realize the second part of that where he actually has the snaps. I thought it was either or. So that's
no. So it is both. He has to accomplish both, which was great negotiating by Joe Douglas. Because if it was or, you're like, yeah, that's probably a second. But the fact that it has to be both, anything could happen.
Yeah.
Reddick could finish with 9.5. Reddick could also be well below the 67.5%. So there are multiple paths potentially to that end, I think.
Yeah, and that's what, like, even going back 2-3 spots, even one spot, so many years, we've seen teams just give up a 3. So I think he thinks he can recoup that pretty easily.
Perhaps. And again, I could see that totally in the trade back. And then if you do that trade back, you're like, wow, this Reddick trade was even better. Because again, in theory, if you're just trading back, you're just picking up an additional pick and you're keeping your pick, right? So if we're making this up, they drop from 10 to 18, they pick up the second and like, Reddick, we just got Reddick for free, basically, outside of the money. So that's a great way to think about it, 100%.
Yeah. I'm thinking also the next move I would love, and Dobbins is everyone's wish list, I feel like.
Sure.
That's
so great.
Mm-hmm.
But Clyde Edwards-Helaire is a sneaky good player. Think about this. In the absence of all their running game, he picks up a lot of the slack. He's not a top back, but we're not looking for that. And
well, that's true too. Yeah, and he's being super underrated. He's going to come dirt cheap too. He's going to come for nothing. The former LSU kid. It's not a bad dart throw, to be honest. To throw him in the room, and he's talented, obviously, and playing that Chiefs offense, that could be fun.
Yeah, and I think I think they're going to go with someone like that, a younger, maybe about 2-3 years in the league, wants to prove himself. With
Javon Kinlaw deal, basically. Not that much money, but that thought, like former first-round pick, whatever didn't happen, and then you kind of get him on the cheap, and then if he pops, he goes and gets a lot of money from somebody else. That could be CEH. 100%.
Like Solomon Thomas, the Jets' idea when they brought in Solly.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that'd be interesting. Well, Nick, again, let's acknowledge our tribal chief, the head of the table, the face that runs the place, our champ, Roman Reigns, baby, the undisputed WWE Universal Champion, the legend himself. So yeah, let's acknowledge him, baby. I love it. Thanks for calling in, Nick.
Friday. Go Jets.
God bless. All right, let's go to a legend. I don't think this man has ever joined my show.
Ooh.
But his legend reaches far and wide. And he was on Jake Asvin's show.
Oh.
King Lowski.
All hail the
gracing
king.
us. Wow. All hail the king. Oh, King Lowski.
Paul Boy Gray, my brother. Connor, my brother. How are we doing this evening?
Incredible. How about you, King?
I mean, King, you said it. The AFC East, baby.
Yeah, hey, Paul, can it get any better than this? Let's really think about what JD has just presented to this franchise, baby. We have an all-pro for a third-round pick. Are you kidding me? An all-pro, 2-time Pro Bowler? Yo, you can't get better than this. This division is over with. Wrap the division over. It's over. Wrap the division up, baby. Okay? Because at the end of the day, Josh Allen already got problems with the defense. You telling me Haason Reddick ain't going to cause hell on that man for the rest of the season? Are you kidding me? Come on, man. Tua, bro, you ain't even got a chance in hell, bro. It's over with for you. Okay? Tuna fish trash. Food trash. You heard me? Real talk, man. The Patriots, dig them up, bury them, dig them up again, bury them even deeper because they in the bottom of the concrete of the basement. You hear me? We ain't got to worry. There is no excuse for us not to win this division this year. Okay? Barring injuries to the quarterback, some unlucky injuries, bro, there is no reason we can't win this division.
Where's Tubby Dion Dawkins? Where's Tubby? Is Haason Reddick ready to eat?
Hey man, they're gonna lose their gosh darn bananas this year, okay? They're gonna lose it. Because I'm telling you one thing, boy, we coming for everybody in the league. All right? Kansas City already got put on notice. They don't really want to see us. They don't really want to see us again. A competent quarterback last year, we would have put foots in them. Okay? This is our year. This is the year, baby. Jets, Jets. Let's go, baby.
Wow. Dropping the mic. King Los, just boom. He's out. He just dropped. I didn't even drop him. He dropped himself. Wow. Okay.
It doesn't get much better than that on a Friday night.
That energy, that chutzpah, I feel like I bring juice and energy, but wow. Okay, move over. Paul Eston Jr. That was the first time Loski has ever graced us with his presence on this program. I've seen him all over the place. So King Loski, thank you for gracing. Wow, we're nearing. I can't believe it. I had no idea we were going to be on this long. We are about to hit 2 hours on this freaking live stream. This is unbelievable. Connor, you've been with me for like the entire show. Look, I don't think you have been with us the entire show. No,
I have been. This day has been relatively long. I mean, it was about 12 hours ago, around a little less than that, when I called into your morning show.
Oh, right.
Actually, earlier today, and I was thinking that, and it felt like yesterday. I felt like Matt O'Leary was on the broadcast with us about 4 hours ago. So keep it going. I'm having a great time with you, Boy Green.
Wow, this is awesome. So, again, getting Haason Reddick is an amazing addition. It's an all-in move. Again, I will make the joke to my father that the Cowboys talked about going all in. The Jets just didn't just talk about going all in. They have gone all in, and it's been aggressive, and it's been fun, and there's still a draft to come. The Jets have 7 picks in the upcoming 2024 NFL draft, and I'm looking forward to what they do because, again, no matter what, stay, move up, move down. There are game-winning moves to be had here. And I believe, as the headline says, reacting to Jets-Eagles trade for Haason Reddick, Super Bowl all-in type move. Yes. And I don't believe that's hyperbole. I believe that's truth, is that's what the Jets just did with this move, Tyron Smith. And here's the other thing. While, fine, it was a trade for Haason Reddick. Fine, it was a trade for Morgan Moses. To me, I think the thing that stands out is that this is all centered around the Aaron Rodgers universe. Mm-hmm. And these players want to come here because of Aaron Rodgers. Now, again, fine, on the Morgan Moses, Haason Reddick thing, I get it. Like, those were trades. But still, the aggression for the trades in the first place is because of the chips in the middle of the table for Aaron Rodgers. And I respect the hell that the Jets are going for it. Daniel Jeremiah said it best on his podcast, Move the Sticks, on the Marvin Harrison Jr. trade before the Mike Williams signing even happened. He said, this organization believes they can go for it, and they have a 2-year window, and we're just going to go. And then we will see what the pieces remain after the 2-year window is complete. And let's roll, baby. Let's ride. Russell Wilson, let's ride. So that's exactly what we plan on doing. And a quick shout out. There's 800 plus people in this room live right now. And who knows how many have been on in and out of the show so far. So quick shout out to the 700 plus on Twitter. Make sure you guys hit that follow button. The 100 plus on YouTube. Again, guys, make sure you like the video, hit subscribe. A bunch of people have been joining the YouTube super membership, which is the Boy Green Super Fan Club. So feel free to do that if you'd like to as well. And also the Heavy on Jets Facebook page, which also has several people over there as well. No matter where you're watching, we appreciate you. Let's go back to the phone line. Someone else had joined me like 12 hours ago for the morning show, and he's here for the evening. Yeah, a very special guest. He was here for the morning, the night. If I had Boy Green morning, Boy Green afternoon, Boy Green evening, Boy Green after dark, some weird X-rated program, I'm not sure, but this man is still here. How about NY Jets FL joining us here on the show? What's up, NY Jets FL?
Good evening, Paul and Connor.
Yes.
How's it going?
How you doing? I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. Any new news today? I mean, I hear a lot of yelling, but is there any news breaking or something?
Yeah,
Paul, I retired my Buccaneer jersey. I got off of work and
yeah, I see.
Quickly showered and got it on Jake Asman's show, but it's the Bryce Huff thing's kind of disappeared rather quickly after this signing. This is an amazing pivot. I mean, we tried the Clowney route, but this is in my opinion, this may even be a better route
It
because
is.
you're
I
getting,
think it is, quite frankly.
yeah,
I think it is.
yeah, you're getting like a 2026 is, years down the road,
Who
and
cares?
Reddick is only 29 and he's so productive. I mean,
Yes.
that guy unleashed, and Patriots may have a rookie quarterback.
Oh,
Tua,
yeah.
Tua could have his own problems. I'm not wishing the guy an injury, but
And the
he
defense is
kind of was
blown up.
fortunate.
They've lost like everybody, and their
Christian
best players.
Wilkins.
Yeah, so they lose Christian
Yes.
Wilkins, they lose all those guys on free agency, and two of their best players, Jalen Phillips and Bradley Chubb, both had serious injuries at the end of their season. So I don't even know what their rehab looks like for returning for next season. So even if you love the offense, fine. I give the tip of the cap. Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle are badass. Again, bad Patuki. Sorry, Connor. I'm working on. We're getting later in the night. I'm starting getting a little looser with my
He's heard it
liquid
before.
courage.
Don't worry.
Yeah,
He's
that's
heard it
okay.
before.
Yeah. You're growing up, Connor. You got a few silver whiskers in your hair, I'm sure. But like the fact of the matter is, you start looking around at these teams like Buffalo, who the Jets have matched up really well against before all these big moves. Miami, who the defensive questions are really up there, and then the Patriots are a dumpster fire. Boy, it's setting up real nice like for this Jet squad.
100%. I mean, hey Connor, how's spring break for you? 2 weeks. I've seen a few of your takes. Are you on your second week or your first week?
Yeah, so this is my second week. I go back Monday, day after Easter Sunday. So I go back. I'll still be back. I'll probably be producing about 4 to 7 days a week, but had a nice 2 weeks off, got to focus on Jets football, got to see some really, really nice additions, and I'm happy these weren't happening when, my worst nightmare is a huge signing happens and I'm at school and I can't do anything. I can't go live. So I'm happy all this stuff. Like Boy Green knows the Tyron Smith signing. I called into his show after I did my own show, and I was in my pajamas. I was literally laying down, about to go to sleep. I see the tweet from me and Rappaport, run down to which was my area, but I have major Wi-Fi problems down there, so I'm back up in my room. But that's where I did the Tyron Smith stream, and here we are making another incredible addition to this Jets team.
By the way, real quick, Connor, I just have to say, thank goodness you squeezed in Adam Schefter during your spring break. I would have hated to say he's like, hey, I can do it on Tuesday of next week. You're like, I'm in school, so that's good. You got it in when you could.
Yeah, he said he's basically, it was either this Friday at 12:30 to 12:45 or next Friday to 12:30 and 12:45, and I'm like, I need to make sure I am locked in for today because it's impossible for me to do it next Friday.
Yeah,
excellent. Good get. Yeah, that was a good get. That was a very good get. Congratulations on your success. Hey,
really appreciate it.
What I would have asked, in all honesty, what I would have asked Schefter is, when you're in a room with Sam Ponder, can you stop staring at her? Because I can't on TV. I mean, it's like I can't take my eyes off of that lady. So anyway, you guys have a good evening, Paul.
Thank you.
I bet you are you going to be able to sleep tonight, knowing what's going to come out tomorrow?
Oh no, I can't. I'm just ready. I really just want to do the show right now. I know my father probably already went to sleep. I know he works odd hours. So I'm sure he may be already in bed or very close to it. But I'm hoping he's bright-eyed and bushy-tailed for tomorrow morning. That's all I'm hoping.
All right, I'll be there. I won't be having my Buck shirt on, but I'll be there. Hey, Connor, have a good evening and have a great rest of school and keep doing your thing. And you can always break news in the nurse's office and in the bathroom if you have to. So there's ways to do it. Have a good one, man.
Good call. Thank you.
Thank you.
NY Jets FL joining. That's a fair point. Like if you're just in class, you're like, teach. I just gotta, my back. And they're like, okay, go to the nurse's office. And you're like, I'm live streaming right now from the nurse's office. This is Nurse Jenny over here. I'm just on the live stream. Oh boy, the Jets just traded for who God knows what. Yeah. Feel free to use that technique.
The only signings that have happened really when I was at school was the special teams fiesta, the Morstead. Morstead and Zerline both happened when I was in school. But I'd rather have. I love both those guys. Great, both incredible players. But I'd rather have that happen while I'm at school rather the Jets trading for Haason Reddick or the Jets bringing in Mike Williams or Tyron Smith. So. You got to pick and choose. So I'm relatively lucky when Joe Douglas is operating, so to speak.
Yeah. Okay. We'll finish up with a couple more things here, guys. If you have YouTube super chats or if you'd like to call into the show, feel free to use that. Again, it is the pinned comment on YouTube, so feel free to hop on. We'll be on here for a few more moments. And like I said, YouTube super chat, skip the line. See, we have hundreds of comments, so I wish I could get to them all, but we don't have enough time, so I have to pick and choose. So, guys, feel free to do that if you have the means to do so. And Connor, I will just say, so let's see. Like I said, I didn't get to. I've said this a million times, so for people, I've repeated myself. I apologize, but the Schefter interview, I've not heard full flower yet. But I told my interns because I work with young people at my radio station. I said, guys, I'll be right back. They're like, what's going on? I'm like, I'm watching Connor's Schefter interview right now. I gotta like finish that up. So I saw the back end, and it was you asked Schefter if he had any final thoughts, and he gave you some of this kind of cool motivational stuff about like, if you love what you're doing, keep chasing it and all that stuff. It just it seems really cool. So yeah, is there anything you can tell us about this Schefter interview? Which again, guys, make sure you check it out. I did it earlier, probably lost in the chat now between the hundreds of comments, but feel free to check that out as well. The Adam Schefter interview, New York flight Jets talk for the full conversation. Yeah, they're saying, Connor, it's time for bed. I see on here that we may be getting too late for you, Connor. So we will be wrapping up so Connor can get an appropriate bedtime. He has to be up for Boy Green Daily tomorrow, obviously.
I do.
So we got to make sure he gets his proper rest for that. What can you tell us about the Adam Schefter conversation? So you had that cool nice little speech there at the end from Adam talking. Did you get to talk to him anything before you started recording, or was it almost like as soon as he came on, you just kind of went live because of his limited time? Was there any other conversations you could share that you had with Schefter? Did he provide any additional insight or advice or anything beyond that?
So basically, he joined in about a minute before we were supposed to go live, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try to get as much time as possible. I'm gonna try to squeeze a 16-minute interview in, rather a 15-minute, as much time as I could possibly get. So I just tell him I'm gonna play the countdown timer, talk, play an intro, just talk Jets. And then after the fact, thank you, blah, 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 blah. I talked to him for about 30 seconds to a minute, but really it's all about persistency. It's something that I was working on since January, and some people might just say, okay, he's not going to come on until April. Well, I was originally told April, but we did squeeze him in on March 29th. So it's something that you really need to stick with, and I tried to keep in touch every 2 weeks so I wasn't really forgotten about. And you gotta stick with everything, because a lot of people would have said, oh, April, who cares, I'll revisit that, and then completely forget. It's all about persistency, staying with it, and that's really how I landed the interview.
Yeah, well, it's a great lesson for your persistence, and hopefully others can take lessons, because I think a lot lesser people, men, women, anything in between, if they would have dealt with the same level of, like, again, you talked to them in January and it's March, so it's a significant amount of time between A and B, and a lot of work, I'm sure, on your part behind the scenes to make that happen. And a lot of people would have been like, it's not going to happen, just gave up. But the fact that you continued and then got it. Again, this is an interview, Connor, I think you're going to remember for a long time and maybe you'll forget about it with all the awesome people you're going to continue to get. But it's these pillar moments. You mentioned, maybe jokingly, maybe not, that you had me on your show first.
Yes.
And then you have this person or that person or whoever. I got to tell you, when people gave me that break of someone joining my show and I didn't have a lot of people, because, hey, we all start somewhere, man. The first couple of listens on my show were my mom, and that was it. And I tried to speak into this microphone like whether it was just my mom or millions of people listening. I tried to deliver them the same thing no matter what. And hopefully people caught on or liked whatever they were hearing from me, and that it could continue. So it's been really cool to see that. So hopefully this is a Schefter interview that launches you to even more superstardom and something that you really like. It can really savor. It's probably hard to savor it in the moment now, but as R&R says here, you miss all the shots you don't take. And there's, like I said, Matt O'Leary, me, a lot of us said, man, boy, Schefter, that's amazing. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So major credit to you, young man.
Thank you. And it's all about what you build off. You have someone, and then you build off that. Maybe someone sees. So you've told me this several times, and it really makes a ton of sense. You get someone, people see it, you build off that. You get another guy. It all stems from one interview, and you were my first guy, so appreciate that.
That's true. I did just want to kind of like shamelessly work my way in there. That was pretty seamless, obviously, that I did work that in there just to allow everyone to hear that obviously I was number one and I am higher than Schefter on your list. So obviously,
I really appreciate all the support, especially you and all the guys in the content community. I really appreciate what really everyone's done, especially you and all the other guys, really. So I just want to thank you for that.
Of course, I can sign your autographs after, Connor. Let's keep it professional. I'll sign my autographs and kiss all the babies after the show, and we can sign some of that stuff. No question about it. Put that other jersey up there, Boy Green 25 to Connor, my number one super fan. We'll make sure we do that after. Connor, before we get out of here, there's 900 plus people in the room right now, so you have an opportunity to sell your soul to the world and tell them what you're all about. And they're like, Connor Long, who the hell is Connor Long? Who is Connor Long, and what do you do as a New York Jets content creator? Let the world know.
Interview people around the Jets, talk ball 4 to 7 days a week. Really trying to do that. It's going to be a little tougher for me when I get back to school, but I'll still try to produce around 4 days a week. It really all started because I was a diehard Jet fan from age since I was born, really, and then really started following the team, started calling into these shows, and I'm like, wow, I really love the Jets. I love this team, this YouTube community. Just from being one of these guys, being a listener, I'm like, this YouTube community is incredible. How about I go and launch my own podcast? And what's the worst thing that could possibly happen? Got started. First video was the day after the Commanders game, and here we are. Here we are now making big splashes. So thank you guys. Really appreciate it, Boy Green. I appreciate all the support. I can't thank you enough.
Of course. So thank you to the 900 plus people that are in here right now. Again, make sure you guys like the video, hit subscribe down below, spread the word, whether you're watching live or well after the fact, to this 2+ hour live stream. Unbelievable. Again, radio station for Paul. Didn't get to react to the news live outside of a quick video in a side office of my radio station. Driving home, grabbing food for the family. Hey, family, I got to go live. And here we are 2+ hours later, baby, of doing this thing. So thanks for the support, everybody. We got to get Connor to bed at a halfway decent time before his parents kill me. And we have Boy Green Daily tomorrow morning with my own father, so we keep the family all together. So thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Enjoy Haason Reddick, another big move, and we'll see what other big moves are to come. All right, everybody, have a great night, and we'll see you next time. Take care.